Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers podcast where we discuss our thoughts on gaming news. I am Angelus de Mortiel, together with Kev the Gamer.
Ubisoft is back on my shit list.
Whoa.
Good times. Major Stupidity.
What's up, everyone?
Deathshroud09, who's apparently here but has his mic muted because he's a noob.
Yep, I'm here.
And once again, we're joined by our guest, Nickodemus X.
What is good?
So, apparently Ubisoft is on a shit list. And let's go ahead and start off. Let's just jump right into it.
Yes.
Fuck the Division.
Yes.
Yes.
Die slow, Division. Die slow.
I'm okay with the mechanics. My problem is the graphics. Like that is my whole spiel about it.
That's my thing too.
It's like you can't go from like Assassin's Creed Syndicate is freaking gorgeous. Okay, let's start off with that. Watch Dogs 2 is gorgeous. It's not like E3 2012 or 2013 or whenever they showed it gorgeous, which kind of pissed me off because modern PCs can run that. But it's still a good-looking game. But how do you go from, say, like that, or Far Cry 4, which again on PC is freaking gorgeous, and then bring PC down to like, seriously looks like GTA on the 360.
Because consoles.
Oh, it's not even just that.
I'm not blaming the consoles here because everybody knows consoles aren't as powerful.
You guys
So
I blame consoles because they decided to put the focus
at some point, you can't blame the console.
You're not blaming the consoles on my watch. No.
at some point, we can't blame the console.
It's not
I'll
even
blame
that.
Ubisoft for their shitty priorities.
Yeah, I'm blaming Ubisoft too.
Here's my thing. I don't even care about the graphics. You know what? I would have been happy with essentially a co-op version of Ghost Recon Phantoms or Future Soldier. No, that's not what we got. We got Destiny Modern War.
Yep. Destiny in New York.
Like
that's another reason. They said it's going to be MMO. It's not even a full-on MMO.
It's like, it's like this half-assed, not an MMO, but yet not a fucking shooter. And at any point in time, I'm trying to play a semi-realistic squad-based shooter game, and I have to shoot a guy in the head 10 fucking times. No, you're done.
Because they're like, oh, it's an RPG.
You have to level up your guns and stuff.
Yeah, it's an RPG with guns. Like,
yeah, it's like in Destiny that works because it's like Halo. You know, Halo, you were expected.
Destiny is barely an RPG. Calling Destiny an RPG is like calling Assassin's Creed an RPG.
It's very
RPG.
It's very MMO-ish. Let's be honest. It's very much has a lot of that in there.
My first question. Oh wait, are we still in introductions? What have we played today?
Yeah, if you want to talk about
peasantry, he wasn't even paying attention to the peasantry. We're shitting on the Division.
I heard something about the Division, but like I want to know what when was the Division announced before Destiny?
The Division was announced in 2013 at E3?
Yeah.
Or 2012, one of the two.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I wonder if the Division started out like that, or if this is Ubisoft trying to play off of the success of Destiny.
I think they're trying to play off the success of Destiny.
Oh, definitely.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
The problem is that Destiny got such bad things. Why would you do
Why?
Because they made a lot of money.
Why have developers, or not just developers, but developers and publishers not learned that this does not work?
Because it's worked with Destiny.
It does work.
No.
People are buying it.
Buy into it.
Why have they not learned that trying to copy the success of another game archetype most of the time does not work? So many games have failed that try to copy Call of Duty. So many games have failed that try to copy better
like
franchises that do it better, that have an established
the dozens
player base.
of freaking WoW clones. That's a perfect.
The dozens of Minecraft clones.
Yep.
Yeah.
or the survival
failed.
game. Who started the survival horror thing like H1Z1 and DayZ and all that?
Was the first one.
It was DayZ.
Okay, yeah. So that's that's another one where you had so many of these clones that were. It wasn't just they weren't just survival games, but it was the PvP asshole simulator, games that were never actually completed. They all were in like their green light or what did they call it?
Early access.
Early access. They're all early
I'll
access
tell you.
games.
Well,
As long as the consumers keep buying into this stuff, they're gonna keep
Exactly.
dumping this stuff out.
That's
And
exactly what it
every
is.
time they do this, these sheep, they mind control this stuff. They make excuses for it. You know, they may complain about it, but they'll go out and they're still gonna buy it, and they'll complain about the game while it's out, but yet they'll still buy the DLC. As long as these consumers keep buying this stuff, they're gonna keep dishing out games like this, dude.
Right.
I'm
It's
very
just
disappointed in the Division. I'm very disappointed, man. Like when I saw the graphics when it first released and the gameplay, I was like, this game is innovative. And then now looking at it, I can't support it,
not-
man. I can't support that.
This is the reason that I've been totally just kind of like turned off of AAA lately. Just like indie's doing all these interesting things, and then
Indie
it's
for
like
life.
AAA copying each other over and over and over.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of that, and I think it also goes to, you know, what do you like in games? The old argument of, do you like gameplay over graphics? Where do you want to be innovative at? I'm not gonna lie, I like innovative graphics. I like my games to be pretty. That doesn't mean I don't like gameplay.
Like, there's a difference between that and aesthetic, though. Like,
Right,
art
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm talking purely like I like the aesthetics. Like I like the realistic looking games,
Well,
and
yeah.
I like that they keep pushing realism.
Well, whenever I
See-
first saw the Division, and you saw like the tensile graphics or physics of like you shoot the
The
windshield,
snowball engine and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Division, when I first saw it, looked amazing, and I was excited. If even if I didn't like the game mechanically, just to see this on my PC, like how amazing this would look.
yeah,
And then when I saw what they have now, it's like, oh.
Dude, when I saw that screenshot in that Facebook group, dude, I was like, I almost threw up. I'm like, dude, I'm
Mhm.
done. I'm
And
done.
I was praying to God that, you know, that's the Xbox One or PS4 version. You know, if that's the case, okay, they downgraded the graphics, but everybody kind of understands. You know, the console version is usually going to look worse than the PC.
It shouldn't look that bad, but
Right, and that's
looked
the
ashy,
argument that I've
man.
been making. Like, it just looks bad. Like,
Yes.
I mean, PC Max out still looks bad.
Yes, that's terrible.
yeah.
Like,
What's the
that's-
word
This
you
is
were
also
using?
Ubisoft
Kev,
talking
what's
about.
the word you were using? What's the one word you were using? It's that one word you were saying, the A word? No, the A word you were saying.
Aesthetics?
No, in the Facebook group.
Asinine? Pick one.
In relation to the Division, you were telling everybody to what?
Ass?
Abort.
Oh yeah, abort. I was telling everyone to abort.
Oh, they were so mad too, man. They
They're
were
salty as hell,
angry.
man.
Just
Oh,
a word
Lord.
to freaking BioWare. Good God, do not make this mistake with Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, please
Matter of
don't
fact,
mess up Mass Effect.
Don't copy
Please,
Don't
man.
copy anything you do with Dragon Age Inquisition. Don't make Mass Effect open world. Don't copy the Division.
Please don't.
Matter of fact,
Or
take
don't
Mass
copy the
Effect
Division
2,
/ Destiny.
Take Mass Effect 2 and all the good shit from Mass Effect 2. Take the mechanics of 3 and add to it, and keep going.
And,
Yep.
and do better with
I
the end.
think partially what's going on with the graphics thing, and we've noticed like how many games lately have been coming out with downgraded graphics, and it's just this is coming to bite them in the ass of like the decades of them like promoting. Oh, we got high-end graphics. We're gonna promote graphics and market graphics out the ass.
Well, it's easier to market graphics than it is.
It's easy to market it, but now we're at a point where it's like diminishing returns on, you know, graphical improvements, and their systems can't handle it, and now people are upset because everyone's been led to believe
It's
that
not even the
my new
system.
console better look amazing.
To me, it's not that. It's don't show me one like the way. Oh, I think this is how the game is going to look.
Oh, it's
and
shitty
it's
as fuck
severely
that they're showing
downgraded.
one thing and then downgrading it. It is.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
It's-
what I
is.
what they're doing is they're over
That's the
promising and under delivering.
Yes.
That's what it is. And the thing is I know what the deal is with the graphics. Is they come up like with the first video we saw of the Division E3 2013, I think it was, or whatever,
yeah,
that looked so gorgeous.
Yeah.
This is what happened. They made a very small, contained, very isolated, very like not a full thing, a tech demo, a proof of concept, if you will, that is just this very on the rails, pre-rendered bullshit that they can make it look so pretty because it's so small. It's very, very confined. And then it comes time to actually make the game, and they realize we can't actually do this. There's no feasible way. Like, we can't get it to run in any sort of realistic fashion. because we're not pre-rendering it. You know, it's you can't pre-render an MMO game, so it's like it doesn't work that way. That's what I think is happening. That's what happened
Yeah,
with
I
Aliens,
agree.
Colonial
I agree.
Marines. That's what happened with all of these games in between that have shown us this gorgeous demo of a game, and then by the time it comes out, it looks like absolute asses. Because
Here's the question: why is the gaming community okay with that?
That's a good question.
Why do
Because
we accept
gamers
that?
in general love to get hyped up.
We are
and
going to
then
talk
just
about
say-
that.
Well, I think the problem is the pacifists. I really do. Like, so many people are afraid of saying something negative or being perceived as negative that they will not complain about things that are actually negative. Like, one of my biggest concerns is when I said this at the turn of the console generation. Why are PS4 players not complaining that they have to pay for online when they didn't have to pay for it last generation?
Yep.
I was on Xbox 360, so I'm used to it.
Right. I was complaining on the Xbox 360. But like people say, oh yeah, well the PC changed you. No, I was complaining about it then, and these guys are witness to that. How much I used to complain about it.
You know what? One thing I can say is that honestly, of a game that now here's the thing: if you guys can remember far enough back,
Not yet.
you have to put yourself in that scenario because obviously, no matter what, old generation graphics are going to look worse. But if you guys remember way back in the day, of playing, like, say, for example, some of the very early Tomb Raider games or Final Fantasy VII, where they had the cinematic sequences in the game, like the full motion video, the FMVs, that looked, for that time, that day and age, they look gorgeous. And then you actually play the game, and it's like, oh, this looks like
that.
ass.
Look,
Like,
yeah, I remember
Lara
PS1
Croft
had a
has
lot of
block
those.
hands, you know?
I remember
Right.
PS1 had a lot of
Final
those
Fantasy used to
little
do that a
intro
lot.
little clips, 15-second clips of whatever. I used to
Yeah.
love those.
Well, like I said, I can remember those those scenes in Tomb Raider as well, the early Tomb Raider games. And it's like you would see those and you're like, wow, that looks really great. And then you get back into the game and there was that kind of disconnect, right? Where you were like, nowadays they don't really have that so much, which is good.
No.
You know,
They've
like
improved in that area.
a lot of times you don't get a whole lot of that, but at the same time, it kind of has that same disconnect to me, where it feels like when I see the tech demo of the game, it feels like I'm watching that FMV, and then when the game comes out, that's like going back into the game, and I'm like, oh, this is what the game's really like.
Right. And this is kind of I was having this conversation on Twitter the other day. I think part of the problem is that they announce games so early.
Yeah.
Stop announcing games 2 years from now.
Well,
Yep.
in the case of the Division, I have every suspicion that they intended for it to come out much earlier. But here's the thing: like I said, remember my whole supposition that they tried that Snowball engine and they got that tech demo out and it looked gorgeous, and then they realized we can't feasibly do this with it in any way running, on anything that's not running a 16 core CPU and 4 Titans and quad SLI.
Well, good luck, consoles.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I'm pretty certain the reason why they'd had to delay it twice is because they had to pretty much rebuild their fucking engine, their entire graphics engine from the ground up, and shunt down a lot of the really cool shit. Which at the same time, you gotta, from the developer's perspective, that's gotta kind of hit you in the gut,
Yeah,
right?
that probably burns.
Yeah, it's like you made this beautiful, glorious thing, and for whatever reason, either it wasn't feasible, or the cost of it was too high, or maybe EA steps in Bungie is their own thing. Ubisoft.
Ubi.
Yeah, so they wouldn't have that overhead the same as EA. But if it was another game and EA, like say EA or Activision steps in and it's like, no, we want you to add in microtransactions. It's in certain ways, developers kind of do get kicked a few times. But here's the thing. Hey, guess what? Bethesda, you know what they did? They came out like 6 months before the game was going to be released with Fallout 4.
I was about to make that point before you cut me. Yeah,
even with all my
they
problems,
did that. Dragon Age Inquisition released their date like 6 months early. And that's all we're asking for. Don't show me a ton of gameplay before it's ready.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, but like a new IP, I don't think they can afford to like just announce it 6 months
cool
earlier.
as this IP is, I think they can. I think honestly,
my thing is
the problem is what they do. They try to build the hype up until the game releases, and then most of the time they just stop promoting like a week later.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they instead promote it for 6 months and then take that same promotion they were going to do for that 6
Maybe
months
with a new
after,
IP,
keep
maybe a
promoting
year.
it?
It's
Maybe
less
a
relevant the
year
later
at
they
least.
goes on, though, because a lot of what they rely on is
Pre-order.
very early sales.
Right.
That's why you have the prevalence of, let me bring up something like, De Novo, the latest DRM program they've been using for PC games. Their idea isn't that they're going to beat piracy. It's that they're going to inconvenience and make it hard enough for pirates to crack the game so that it will take a few weeks. And then within that first few weeks, they'll get the impatient people to go ahead and just buy the game because they rely a lot on just the very early sales.
Mm-hmm.
And as time goes on, sales become... They're still relevant, but they're not quite as
that
significant.
ticker.
Right, and I think that's like a huge problem with marketing in this industry.
Of course.
Is like we don't look at sales as a whole. Yes, you're going to get your big spike when it comes out.
The
Mhm.
big
What
problem
about
with
the
AAA
sales
industries
over
in
here?
general is they refuse to decide to take projects that will be moderately profitable. They insist on going all in on every project. Like every game they release, it's like this game better sell like fucking hotcakes or else it's gonna fail. Remember when I think it was
Tomb
Tomb Raider? The original,
Tomb Raider.
the reboot of
They
Tomb
sold a
Raider, where
million
they sold
copies and then said that wasn't enough.
yeah, and Square Enix was like, this game's a failure after 6 million sales. It's just like, what the fuck? Square Enix,
Mhm.
what?
Well, I
What
think
are you
that goes.
doing?
That kind of goes to corporate America and corporate greed itself.
Yeah.
Where I remember I was talking to a guy at work about this a couple weeks ago. We were saying, remember in the '90s when a 30% profit was considered good.
Mhm.
Now,
Profit is
100% profit is like the bare minimum for all corporations and everything. It's not about breaking even and making a little bit of money. It's about getting all of the money.
Yep.
We're going to spend a nickel,
Yep.
and instead of charging you $1, we're going to charge you 5.
And that's also why we see less risks when it comes to game making and why we see so much copying of others' ideas. It's like when we're investing this much money in the game, they're like, are we really going to take a risk? No, we're going to go for the safe bet every time.
And that's why we get Assassin's Creed every year and Call of Duty, and I like those games.
Because
But
they're money
I
makers.
want to see some innovation too.
It's
That's
just
why we're not
guaranteed
seeing
money, man.
That's why we're not seeing a lot of new IPs. And even if
that's
you
why
get
I
a
like-
game that's like a quote unquote new IP, say like Shadow of Mordor, it's still not really a new IP. It's based on Lord of the Rings.
Yep. Pretty
This
much.
is why I've been leaning towards indie lately.
But
Yeah, me
let's
too.
go ahead and now that we've griped about the division, and the final
talk
word,
about
the
the
final word.
Die slow,
Bitched about-
division. Die
And
slow.
bitched about the industry.
Yeah,
As a
and
whole.
so we'll sum it up in Kev's, as I put in the ticker, Kev's one word summary of the division. Abort.
Abort!
Abort. Don't buy this
Hashtag
game.
abort!
Don't like give them permission. Like if they see
Yes,
the sales on this tank because of how they handled it, they'll get the message. That's how
Yes.
you deliver a message to a business when they fuck up. You don't buy the product anyway because whatever. It's like the
peasants don't give a fuck. They're
Well,
just
Peasants have
buying
been
the
damage
game.
controlling all weekend, dude. All
Yeah.
fucking weekend.
It's the same
Stop
thing
the
with
damage
Valve. Whenever Valve fucks up and everybody's
Oh
like,
yeah, people were damage
"Oh, it's just
controlling on Christmas.
Valve. No big deal. It's just Valve."
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
don't give them a free pass. They don't give a fuck about you.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
agree.
don't like shill for them. They're not paying you. You know.
Oh, you
All
saw the
gaming
first
cares
shit I
about
said.
is all gaming
was-
cares about is his car and his knife collection. He doesn't give a
Right.
fuck about you.
But let's
I'm
go
sure
ahead
he
and
cares about his high price Russian hookers that he got.
right. But let's go ahead and get on to the games we've been playing. Kev, what have you been playing this week?
A lot actually. I just got off of GTA Online. I found a group of people to play that with.
Nice.
Rainbow Six Siege. I got that this week. I've been playing that a little
And you've
bit.
been getting killed by the sound of it because
I've been getting destroyed by these guys. Like these guys are actually.
it's a
really
very
good.
deep game, and whenever you get a deep, complex game like that, that's what happens.
Yeah.
People get fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
I do
I'm-
want to get
Bang,
sick.
bang.
I'm still playing the Michael Bay Simulator.
Yeah,
The Michael Bay Simulator?
Just
What's
Cause
that?
3.
yeah. Michael Bay Simulator.
I want to try that. I want to rent that.
That game is amazing.
tell you
But wait.
Just
Do you get to
Cause-
play as Megan Fox?
No, there's no Megan Fox. There's no ass.
Is
no
there a
ass,
mod?
no
for
titties.
it?
It's very disappointing. And then the last
Oh.
game I've been playing, which looks like shit, but I don't care. Dragon's Dogma. The PC port came out this week.
It doesn't look that bad.
It actually looks pretty
It
decent.
looks like Gears of War 2-esque graphics.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't
Really?
look that bad.
I disagree.
Like,
there are
I don't
textures.
know. I don't think it looks.
There are textures in this game. They're like I'm talking like Fallout 4 textures. You come around the corner, you're like, what?
This is also a game that was released in like 2011 or 2012.
And this is not an HD remake, mind
Yeah,
you.
they never.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about it because they kept saying it's just a port that we have like 4K support and that's about it. Excuse me, hiccups. I'm waiting for the texture mods.
Yep.
I'm still gonna play it, but I want those mods.
Because it's PC.
Right, exactly. Because PC, if you don't like something, you can fix it usually.
Usually, unless
Sounds like a cop out to me.
What? Oh no! I'm not giving the graphics a pass.
no, if you end up with a game by some means or another that ends up being fucked up, it's like you could just ignore the game, but you already bought it, so might as well.
Right, I already bought it, and I bought it from Green Man Gaming, so I can't get a refund. So I'm gonna wait for the mods to hopefully fix it.
Yep.
To me, it's like
PC
repatch.
life. That PC life.
Yeah, PC life exactly.
Yep.
You
So-
don't like it, you can usually fix it.
So Joe, what have you been playing? Warframe,
Oh man,
Brian Frank.
Vermintide,
Vermintide, and Warframe.
Vermintide, and Dragon's Dogma a little bit, but Vermintide mostly.
You've
It's so much fun.
been getting the little bitchy kids that are like the team wipes, and they're like, why didn't you do this?
Most of the time, it's not. This is like the game tonight was the first time I'd seen that. Most of the time, I go in, and as long as you're not being a complete dumbass, like people are pretty nice.
It gets a bit of that Dota / League of Legends, shit going on though.
The worst is like I'd expect it if I went into like a nightmare match or Cataclysm, and it's like you're fucking up, and the guy's just like, "Come on, man," because if you fail, you don't get any reward. Like you have to complete the entire thing before you get your loot die roll.
So it's kind of like what we used to do on Mass Effect 3 when we played online. We would see like these level 2 guys. You see, they just got the game, and we're like, "Dude, you're trying to play gold. You got the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Go learn it."
Problem is that this guy was bitching on normal, and he was like level 4. It's like this guy barely started playing on normal, and he's bitching, and it's like
elitism in gaming. It's terrible.
But anyway, it's
Talking
a lot
shit
of fun.
about Major in the chat.
I can't. Like, I'm afraid to open up the stream because my connection's been acting up some.
Yeah.
They're just telling you to get good.
Yep.
Oh.
But
hey,
in any
I
case,
was doing fine. It's everyone else who was wiping, and then the one guy who was getting his ass kicked complained, not me.
That's what every noob says.
I know, noobs always making excuses. Get good, scrub.
So Travis,
Anyway.
have you played anything?
No, I haven't played a thing this week, unfortunately.
How much closer are you to Ascension?
Within a month, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he's working with Zyph and getting a computer together. And we'll
That
finally.
is
Yeah,
not me typing. I've been muting my mic.
I've just got to finish my payment setup so I can, get the parts, and I should hopefully have a decent rig coming in the mail soon.
Glorious!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, how close are you to ascending?
Oh.
I'm putting you in jeopardy for your channel.
Yeah.
all those
about that.
all those console guys watching your channel might be upset to hear.
They sit here like, fuck them elitists.
I'm gonna stick with the PS4 for a little bit, but I definitely do want to get into PC gaming. I don't know when I'll be able to do it yet. But as far as what I've been playing this week on PS4, I've been playing a game called Dust. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Yep, the Elysian Tale.
Yes,
It's
sir.
actually a pretty awesome game.
I
It's
hear it's
amazing.
really awesome. I still have to play it.
It came out
It's quite
around
good.
the same time as Ori and the Blind Forest, I believe, and both of them got
Oh,
a
no,
similar.
no, it's been around a lot longer than
Yeah,
that.
Has
it
it?
came
Yeah,
out on
it's been a lot
Xbox
longer.
It was on the
360
360
originally. Yeah. I played it on 360.
You're right,
Yeah.
you're right.
I played it on 360 and beat it, and I'm playing it again as part of my Indie Game Sunday live stream. I'm
Nice.
doing that, and then because I'm a real gamer, I play indie games. Also,
That
I've been playing
elitism.
Wolfenstein.
He would make such a great PC gamer. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, there's elitism all
That
over in games
elitism.
when we talk about it. So we're
It's
talking
such-
about elitism. Like, what about the guys who trash on people for still having the 360 and PS3?
I saw
Like,
the
that's
360.
just as elite.
There's still people that have that.
I haven't turned it on. In
Travis.
6 months.
Gordy and Travis have it. I mean, well, a lot of PC
Mine
players still have
has
it, but it
a-
kind of makes sense if you're a PC player. Like,
Mine's burnt out.
and I'm not saying this is shit on the consoles because almost everything is a multi-plat now or a console exclusive. you have like 90% of the games on PC.
What were you saying,
And the
Jimmy?
ones you don't, you can live with that.
We were saying that
Joe?
you still have a 360, and
Yeah, they
Oh.
were joking about.
I still got
people
mine.
360s.
mine
still
has
got
a
it.
burnt out power supply, and I
doesn't
haven't
get
turned
used,
it on
but I
6
still got
months.
My disk drive no longer works. I had
I had to
my
replace mine.
Microsoft,
360
gotta love it.
hey, it's this. I got this. How many years ago? Like 6. It's been a while. It's
I
an
think I got
original
mine.
arcade. It's an original arcade model of the Xbox 360. All right. The fact that
Mine
it's
red,
still
mine red
running.
ring, still special.
The fact that it's still running right now is a miracle. All right. I use it for Netflix and YouTube. That's it.
Mhm.
That's all
Yeah.
I need it for.
And you're
That's why I use
gaming
my
on that
PS3
laptop.
for. It's a Netflix box. That's what my PS3 is.
See, I
Also,
use it on my PS4.
what?
Netflix and Hulu and all that. I just do it on my PS4.
Oh,
But
yeah. I use it.
sometimes I'll do it on my Xbox One. It just depends. The Xbox One is a great little media device. As much shit.
But you know what, Kev? Not everybody has an Xbox One and a PS4.
No. I'm saying I'm
Were
surprised
you-
he's using his PS3 for that, and not his PS4.
Where you paid like $400 for your multimedia device, I paid like $40 for my Amazon Fire TV stick, and
Right.
it allows me to do all the things I want.
Oh,
But he gets to
Amazon.
play all those great exclusives. He gets to play all those great exclusives. on that
Well,
game.
I have a lot for my
What
kids.
exclusives?
Yeah. 'cause
Oh,
it's PC.
shots
It's like-
fired.
Honestly,
Time
the
is
only
it?
exclusive I care
9:27
about
p.m.
that come
Shots
out-
fired.
It's like I've said a bunch of times, and people love it or hate it. Consoles have their merits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem
They do.
is everybody is
Oh.
caught on this
Yes, Joe,
clear
they
cut. I'm sorry.
Not many.
The
Joe,
problem is a
Joe's
lot of
just-
people are cut on their clear
They're just
cut.
getting more and more
what's better.
expensive, man.
I've seen some people who are just like technologically stupid. Those people need to just sit on a console because they're
Yeah.
just not going to get it. They're just not.
No, most console gamers don't get it. Let me finish
Well, a
telling
lot
you
of
what I
people-
was playing for the week. Let me finish.
A lot of console gamers
okay.
are intelligent enough and don't want to get it.
That's fine. All right, Nick, go ahead and finish.
I've been playing a really great game. It's Battlefront. I just started playing that Friday.
Oh.
Yes. No, it's
Oh.
great, man. It
I
is
just want to
wonderful.
talk about it. I'm not gonna.
Come on, guys.
We've
Come on.
already gone over
I
that.
enjoy the game. The three of us
It's
have had
fun,
like some heated debates about the game.
Yes,
It's fine
yeah.
if you like it. It's hot garbage, but if you like it, that's all right.
Yeah,
It's
like-
not hard garbage.
I
Great.
think at this
Garbage,
point
man.
we've been pretty
It's
clear.
not like it doesn't have that much depth and all that. I get that, but for what it is, it
For
is
what it
fun.
is,
Like
it's
I can
overpriced.
hop in there.
It's
I can
overpriced.
hop in there and play like Drop Zone, Crash, which is Team
Okay.
Deathmatch. I jump in there, wreck stuff,
You know what?
get in,
If
get out.
Battlefront-
Hear some
Battlefront was
great
like
Star
20
Wars
bucks.
music while I'm playing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
See,
Yeah,
If
it
it was like $30, if it was $30, okay, but no, it's like 110.
Yeah.
because they almost make it mandatory.
Well,
what's
Season
that,
pass.
Travis?
I'm
I'm not getting. I'm not getting all that
Hold on.
DLC.
What's that, Travis?
Like a movie trailer might be really, impressive visually and have a lot of, it might be nice, but I'm not gonna pay full movie price to go into the theater and
Metal
watch
Gear
it.
Solid 5. Remember how they released Ground Zero, which was basically a demo for like $40? It's like Ground Zero was great,
And
not $40.
just so we
Have you guys
full,
tried Battlefront? Have y'all
Yes,
tried it?
yes, I have.
Oh,
yeah, I've
Just
played
for
it.
full transparency,
Okay.
whenever I give the cost thing or me and Joe talking about wanting it to be, it's worth $20 or $30. Just so we have full transparency, as much as Kev shills for the game, he only paid $30 for it. So
I
he
never
paid
denied
what?
that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, full transparency. He paid what we thought it was worth.
You know what? You
And but
can't
Joe's
buy
also,
it.
and Joe,
I paid
and Joe's
40
also
bucks,
talking about with DLC. I didn't buy any DLC. I got it on Xbox One.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so
I don't
that's
know.
just the game.
I haven't seen what DLC
Even
they
it's
released
still
for
not
it.
worth
So.
60. I'm just saying they pushed the season pass extremely.
That's
Yeah, of course
EA.
they put the season pass.
I'm not buying the season pass. No, I'm
No,
not.
neither
I'm
am
not,
I.
not that crazy.
No, Kev only buys the season pass to the hype train.
It's just like I look at Battlefront and it's like if I want the Battlefield experience in that way, like I want that big co-op kind of team-based shooter, it's like I'll play Battlefield. If I want a Star Wars game that gives me the full Star Wars experience, there's better games. There's Republic Commando, there's Knights of the Old Republic, there's Jedi Academy, there's Jedi Knight. I could go on a list of good Star Wars games that I could play for the Star Wars
Kyle
experience.
Katarn is no longer canon.
I don't
Fuck
care. Kyle
Disney.
Katarn's a
Fuck
fucking
Disney.
badass.
Yeah, Kyle Katarn
He's
is a fucking
badass.
beast. And no, he's no
Like
longer
those
canon.
badass
Revan
Jedi.
though apparently is hinted as being canon. So
Yeah, they were
Gotta love it
nitpicking.
when people buy a license.
yeah, right. It's like Oh yeah, all of your great games and content, those aren't canon. They're extended.
See, again, I will bring up that I don't necessarily blame them because
I
the
do.
There was
task
so much shit.
there's a lot. Like the Star Wars
Yeah.
Expanded Universe, or Legend as it's called now, it's pretty damn huge.
Yeah, it is.
Like it has a lot of shit going on in it. And Disney had a monumental task and basically having to work around all the established canon and lore already there.
Well,
That I
didn't-
don't blame them
No,
for just
no
going.
passes
you
shall be
can't do
granted
this."
tonight. No passes.
So what Disney did, right, is they, like in the new universe, like all of that is considered, like you said, legend, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of at Disney's, they can reveal and put whatever they want back into official
Yeah,
canon
they own the IP
over
now.
time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So technically, while they have officially, they haven't completely thrown out the extended universe. They've just set it to the side to pull back what they
Well,
want and keep everything.
to be
cohesive.
honest, the whole Old Republic series, and when I say that, I include Old Republic 1 and 2 and the Old Republic MMO. The events of that game are so far removed from
That's
what they're
why I
currently
feel like
working on. They could make that canon easily.
I feel like they aren't necessarily against it. Like they haven't really gone out of their way because they don't have any plans to do anything with it. But I don't think Disney's totally against having those events, become significant. It's one of those things where they're setting it to the side for now, and I believe that they're going to sit on it. And if the opportunity arises that they could use it, they'll go ahead and do it because, again, the Old Republic is far removed from the events of what they're focusing on. Thousands of years in the past.
Robot voice.
It's something that they're sitting on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crackling.
Yeah,
Well, I
he's
mean, just
scrambling.
imagine.
I think it's a
Is it
Windows
still doing
connection.
it?
Personally, I don't like what Disney is doing with the series. I think it does it a disservice. But it's going to make them a lot of money. They're a business. That's what that's what they're in it for.
Yep.
So I can't exactly blame them. I'm just not happy with it.
Yep, but let's go ahead and get off of the getting sidetracked onto Disney and stuff. Let's go ahead and get moved on to our first story. So our first story of the night was kind of a bizarre move. Valve approved, on Greenlight, the use of official assets from Half-Life 2 for a Steam Greenlight title called Prospect, which is not made by anybody in Valve. It's made by a complete indie developer who's out in the nowhere that made his own project. It's kind of a unofficial spiritual successor to Half-Life 2 means. Could this set a precedent for indie developers wanting to make so-called spiritual successor in long dead titles? Because let's be honest, Half-Life 3 ain't gonna happen. But do you guys think this could set a new precedent for other developers?
Can I just say real quick that it's probably best that Half-Life 3 never happens because I remember there was the video by the guys who did Cinema Sins, and they do the same thing for games. Some everything wrong with, and they're usually satire. They made one video where it was talking about Half-Life 3, and when it came out, they satirically said oh, Half-Life 3 came out, and it's this game's so amazing, and they made fun of the fact that the expectations are so high.
Yeah.
Half-Life 3, no matter how good it is, will never satisfy.
It'll
the
be
end.
It will never be good enough.
Not with gamers these days.
That game should never come out.
There are two things that should never come out because they will never satisfy their audience: Dr. Dre's Detox and
Yep.
Half-Life 3.
Yeah, I agree. That's why Dr. Dre ain't brought that album out.
Because
He knows.
nobody,
He
people can
knows.
wait for that album for 18 years.
Yep.
Don't even
It's
bother.
gonna be
That-
trash no matter what.
Well, I don't know. The Compton album he did was really good. For the movie Compton, that was really good.
I
But
hear that one.
yeah, it came out last year. It was really good. But I don't see Half-Life 3. Even if you got another studio to do it, find a studio that's worth their weight and let them do it. I still don't think
People aren't
or as a
capable
reboot, maybe.
of having reasonable expectations for that game anymore. It
People-
needs
well,
to never see the light of day.
the problem is partly the internet, which is why I say maybe reboot it. But then people will never be happy with a reboot either.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Tomb Raider. People love the Tomb Raider reboot.
I would rather just. That's the other thing. People are clamoring for these sequels. It's I'd rather see them just make another game that's not Half-Life.
So
I just want to see it end. I've never beaten any of the Half-Lives.
Half-Life 2. The biggest problem is Half-Life 2 Episode 2 ended with an enormous cliffhanger. like absolutely atrociously obnoxious cliffhanger, and it has been years, and they still have not.
Hasn't it been like over 10 years?
Not 10 years, but it's been several years. But that's the big problem is the cliffhanger ending. That's what pisses people off the most because it's like.
So just to bring it back around to the story on here. So there's a lot of games that get made that are in some way relating, like they use or try to attempt to use assets or story content or lore from major productions of some sort, like Half-Life 3. Do you think that like there different game publishers could see potential monetary benefit from allowing indie developers to use their assets officially? Like another example would be now I doubt EA would ever do anything like this, but let's go smaller. Let's go smaller. Bethesda. So say Bethesda allowed someone making a spin-off not inside the universe or lore of Elder Scrolls, but say a spin-off in the Elder Scrolls universe, and allowed them to use official actual official assets. It's a unique story, a unique game, but it uses some assets from, say, Oblivion, an old game that's been out for a long-ass time. Do you think that Bethesda could see some monetary benefit and actually allow that now that they've seen?
I'd love to see that.
If this does well, yes. I mean, they're going to gauge it off of how well something like this does. And yeah, if it does, yeah, I'm sure other devs will jump on board and be more willing. I mean, if the indie developer actually produces some, quality work, of course. I don't think they're just going to allow their name to be attached to just anything. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll follow suit.
Am I the only one here who's afraid of EA or Activision getting a hold of this idea?
Well, I will throw this out. This is a special circumstance here, because this is a game going through Steam Greenlight, which is also run by Valve, which means if the game gets greenlighted, which I believe it actually has, if it gets greenlighted, then if it sells, then they're still getting a cut from it. So it's kind of like they're getting their royalty check from the assets anyway. Yeah. So and there might have been some special, instead of taking 30% cut or whatever their normal cut is, they might have taken a little bit more or something like that. I don't know. But their circumstances is unique because they control the output avenue. They have the platform that it's being sold on. Whereas Bethesda, they don't have a platform with which to sell games on like that. They have mods.
Oh yeah, they have Bethesda.net. I'd hate to see. I'm afraid of what that's going to become.
Oh God, no.
Hey, what if Valve said yes to this? Now, bear with me. What if Valve said yes to this to help build hype for the inevitable Half-Life 3?
Half-Life 3 ain't happening.
It's not. Gaben's already said it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Which
is another reason why Gaben's still on my show list.
Dude, he said it's not going to happen like years ago.
I know.
This is not.
I know long before I started praising him. I'm just saying.
This is not new. It's been this way for a while.
However, I will bring up that if they planned on not having a third game, that cliffhanger ending is why
I don't think they intended to have no Half-Life 3 that long.
If they don't plan on making Half-Life 3, they need to at least release and come up with something to tie up the end.
No, they don't.
Because that ending was just horrible.
Okay.
I don't
drop some DLC like they did with Mass Effect. Drop some DLC.
They had 2 DLCs for that game.
Mass Effect still has that problem of the indoctrination theory.
No. The indoctrination theory is complete and utter bullshit.
I agree.
Yeah. Man-made.
It was a fun little thought, but had too many holes that people chose to overlook on it. And
here's the problem: I don't think anyone thought it was legitimate. But
it was just
some people
legit.
No, it was satire. It was the thought that the official endings were such an utter shit on launch.
We needed something, man.
This was just as plausible. That's how bad the endings were at launch.
Yes.
They're still pretty bad. They're better now that the director's cut came out and whatever. The extended cut DLC, but even with the extended cut, those endings are still pretty bad.
Dude, I remember being so disappointed in that game. I was on the internet just scrambling, looking for anything, and I saw the indoctrination theory. I'm like, I was just looking for closure, man. I was like, hey, yeah, that might be
like,
the reason.
I'm not one of those people who is like, BioWare needs to rewrite the game because I'm used to bad endings. But I will still bitch about it because it was still a shit ending.
My whole thing, whenever I
terrible.
first heard someone like screaming that the indoctrination theory is correct, and people don't think it's a satire, people think it's real. They think that that's actually the ending. Here was the one thing that just fell
It's
apart.
definitely not real.
Whenever spoiler alert to everybody, and I'll try to keep it as vague as possible.
Travis, better mute your mic.
Yeah, I'm not actually going to spoil things. I'm just going to use
This game
colors.
is X years old.
Yeah.
You should have played it by now, Travis.
No, in any case.
Exactly.
So, in any case, they tried to claim that one of the signs that you were indoctrinated was that essentially the ending that you would think is the one you would want turns out to be the renegade ending, whereas the one that seems a little questionable moral-wise is the blue paragon action. And I'm like, no, the red ending is short-sighted as fuck and leaves everybody screwed, and not only that, ends up having very bad effects that I'm not going to spoil. The blue ending, on the other hand, has some beneficial effects. There's some moral questionability there. Same with the green ending. We'll leave it at that. But the fact whenever they were trying to say, oh yeah, they switched the colors in your brain because you're indoctrinated and they confuse you.
Yeah,
It's like,
that was stupid.
no, the red ending is very clearly short-sighted and
Oh,
selfish.
man.
There's
not
no...
as much as the hidden ending.
Oh, you talking about? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That was
what?
depressing as fuck. No,
You know-
we're not gonna spoil that.
Like, that's actually my favorite ending, surprisingly, the hidden one.
You know,
Just because that was kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
You
it
can
was.
give the galaxy the
way you
finger
did
and
it,
just
it's fucked up.
yeah.
the ending could have had a slightly
camera's
better, like if a little bit more thought would have been put into it, you probably could have done something like make all the colors gray, and then slightly tweak
No.
like the red.
I actually
and then,
my big post about this is the whole fact that they had color endings on there was bullshit.
well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it
I
was
mean,
very
if,
ridiculous.
if you want to go all the way back, they should have stuck with the original writing of Mass Effect 3 with the whole
Well,
You mean
boss
Carpathian?
fight with
he shouldn't have
dark
left.
matter, energy, and like all that. Yeah, like
I
that.
never read the scripts for the Dark Energy.
I read it. It was pretty interesting.
It was
They
pretty
just-
good.
So
yeah, it was.
this is my thing, is that the whole, regardless, the 3 color ending thing, my major complaint about it is not so much however shallow the ending seemed. It was the fact that I don't feel like I should have had a choice. My decisions throughout 3 games
That's
have been
BioWare's problem. That's what every single game has done. This
I know.
KOTOR was infamous because it's like you could be the most evil motherfucker, and then it's like at the end, just be like, I want to be light side now. Like, fuck it.
Yeah, Mass Effect did that pretty well, for lack of
Well,
a better term.
I mean, there were talks of the ending being written in like an afternoon by
The problem
Right,
is Mass
right.
Effect 3,
It's
it isn't
nothing.
just the ending. People complain about the ending. Mass Effect 3 had a lot more problems than the ending. It was rushed.
Yeah,
Mass
there-
Effect
it
I,
was-
I felt like Mass Effect 3, really up until, spoiler alert,
It was the most
the last scene with
Spoiler
Captain
alert.
Anderson. Up until
yeah,
that point, I
just
felt
keep
like
it
was a
vague if you are
masterpiece.
gonna talk about
Yeah,
spoilers.
that's what I'm saying. That last scene that you have with Captain Anderson,
Mhm.
that everything after that, I love that last conversation with them. Directly after that conversation ends, it goes to shit for me.
Mhm.
Everything
I'm just
else
wondering,
that-
there's things like, how the fuck did Captain Anderson get there?
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't get how he got there either.
Well,
know,
guys,
man.
keep
It's
it
just
keep
that
it vague,
whole-
keep it
that-
vague, keep it
That
vague.
is
Spoiler
fake.
alert.
Where is, like, come on.
just so you guys are aware, I watched the entire indoctrination theory, so that probably gave me all kinds of spoilers.
No, because
Yeah.
if it's gonna fuck your perception of the game, you really shouldn't have watched it. It's a bunch of
When it
bullshit.
goes down to
You
it,
watched that
Mass
before you
Effect-
played it?
Yeah, no.
I don't even remember it really. I remember small bits.
We met him playing Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, but he said he never touched the campaign on any of them.
You're one of those guys? Just
Well,
jump
yeah.
straight into the multiplayer?
Well, because my
On a
girlfriend,
story-driven game?
and no, at the time my girlfriend was playing it, and like I didn't know about Mass Effect at the time, so I just bought it so I could play the multiplayer with my girlfriend.
Oh. Man, you missed out.
Mass Effect.
Fire up that
It's still one of my
360,
favorite IPs. Still probably my favorite
Oh, yeah.
IP of all time.
Mass Effect, it's come down to the journey
My camera's screwing up. The journey
Your
is
whole
worth
connection's
it,
screwy,
even
bro.
if the ending is kind of. What's going on?
Your whole connection's screwy, bro.
Yeah, I just want to while we're kind of in that lull there, I wanted to apologize to Legend Pig on Twitch. Apparently, Nightbot decided that it didn't like you, so it decided to time you out. Sorry about that, man. he just posted in there he never finished Mass Effect. That's all he typed in there, and Nightbot was like, "Fuck you." It did not like what he said.
So Nightbot, you're on our shit list.
Yeah, apparently Nightbot
You're
gave him
on
the
1
finger.
hour probation. Fix your shit.
Yeah, but let's.
Okay, am I fine now, or is it garbling?
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, Mass Effect is still worth it. It's about the journey, not the destination.
I can
How
agree with
shitty
that.
ending
I can
is.
get down with that. It's still an amazing series.
Yeah, and
It
your
is.
laptop will probably run, and then you could probably find the whole trilogy for like $10.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait for the remaster.
EA said they're not remastering, and it broke my heart when they said that.
No, but it may
What
be
I'm
on
still wondering is
on
it's
BC
still-
list for Xbox though.
I
It's
hope
still
so. I'd love to see
ridiculously
that.
hard
Yeah,
to get
yeah, it
Mass
is.
Effect 2 or 3 with all the DLC bundled with it, because they never did that. Like,
No.
that's one of my biggest complaints, is even with the Trilogy Edition,
Yeah, they didn't do the
you
DLC
would
for 2 or 3.
expect
They
the
didn't do the
Trilogy Edition would
DLC?
have all the
The
DLC.
No, because they want to get you them extra sales, man. Come
Man,
on.
this is
Yeah,
EA.
no, like I bought
Yeah,
the
it's
trilogy
EA
for
right
PC.
there.
I bought the trilogy on PC. That's actually a true story. One of the reasons I got into PC, I didn't want to let the game go. So I was looking for somewhere, to have backward compatibility without keeping my 360, which is a big part of why I got into PC. And yeah, they said I bought the trilogy. It was the first game I bought for
No
PC,
DLC.
and it gave me the DLC for Mass Effect 1,
Yeah.
but didn't
That's
give
it.
anything for 2, anything for 3.
Especially for 2, that's the worst. Like, Mass Effect 3, it's like, okay, the newest game. Alright, EA, it's still a dick move, but okay.
Well, 2
You're
had
not
the
getting
best
DLC for
DLC.
2 either. It's like,
The DLC
Really?
for 2 was almost as good as the full game.
it was, the DLC for 2 is really good, but it's just...
Dude, it's great, man.
That was actually like, yeah, if you get the DLC for any games, too, I love that. Like, not just you got 2 extra characters in that game, but it wasn't just 2 extra characters. You got 2 extra characters, weapons, and story content to go along with them. Whereas in Mass Effect 3, the whole shit show of Javik,
Yeah,
character,
that was terrible.
the whole on disc DLC bullshit that they pulled.
And he was
with
like
that one.
vital. Like Kasumi and Zaid aren't really vital to the game.
Well, no, he's very vital to the lore and making things.
Yeah,
feel
that's what
complete.
he is. But I'm saying the
But
characters from Mass
it's-
Effect 2 weren't.
It's not even just that. It's like you have one mission to get him. I think don't you get the collector particle rifle from him?
Yes, yeah, you get all the collector weapons.
Was that from
So
him or was that
sniper
from
rifle,
another?
the
Was that
STG,
another DLC?
and they're all part of the same DLC.
You get
Okay,
the
so-
Prothean
Yeah, all the
particle beam
So
from
so
it,
you do
that's
get a
it.
couple weapons in one mission, whereas like the 2 Kasumi and Zaid, you get extra weapons plus a whole story arc. You get
And the story was good too.
Yeah, the
Like,
story for
very
both of them
interesting.
was damn good. It was
Yes.
fun as shit. Like pretty much all that the what was the name of the DLC? Awakened or something? No,
Plus Kasumi's
From the
DLC,
Ashes. From the
you-
Ashes. That was just pretty much a defend the pod mission.
Hmm.
That's all you did. You went and defended the fucking pod.
Yeah, Javik's DLC was terrible. I
Whereas
like the
Kasumi's
character.
was damn great. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
I like Kasumi's.
you
but
you get dressed
Kasumi's
up to the
also-
nines and
The
go.
DLC I'm thinking of, Lair of the Shadow Broker.
That
Oh,
one was
Lair the Shadow
ridiculously
Broker
good.
was damn good too.
Oh,
That
yeah,
one
That's,
I
no,
felt.
that's as good
Yeah,
as the damn
man.
full game.
Well, no,
Yeah,
my
it
whole
was
thing
fun. It
is
was
that I almost feel like they should, if they're gonna do like add DLC into shit, that should almost be part of it because it really felt like it completed the story. It was kind of like the one from the first game.
Bringing Down the Sky.
Bringing Down the Sky felt like it was kind of integral. I think was that one.
I don't think that was the
No. It was Arrival DLC. Feel like it was almost necessary
Arrival
for Mass Effect 2.
because it was a prelude to Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, well, I feel in a lot of ways Lair of the Shadow Broker was as well because you get into Mass Effect 3 and all of a sudden Liara's got all these monitors and this little floating glyph guy and you're
If
like,
you don't do-
what the fuck is
if you
up
don't
with
do that
this?
DLC
Well, she explains it to you, but you're still like, what?
Yeah,
'Cause it
like
comes
you
out of
miss
nowhere.
so
You don't- if you
much.
don't
You
do
miss
the
so
DLC.
much without that DLC.
Yeah.
If you don't do the DLC, you're literally like, "Hey, Liara, what's going on?" She's like, "Oh, by the way, Shepard, I'm the fucking Shadow Broker now." Just like,
yeah.
Spoiler! Or when you start off Mass Effect 3, you wonder, like, why is Shepard in prison?
Yeah.
And maybe you think it's
they
because
make that
you ran
such
off
a
of Mass
bullshit
Effect 2.
excuse.
But
It's because the servers. Like
well,
if you don't
no.
do Arrival,
It actually has to do with the Arrival DLC.
I know I'm saying if you don't do Arrival, how they explain it is literally like, oh Shepard, it's because your past association with Cerberus. And it's just like, really? Really?
Yeah, that's such a shallow reason.
Maybe want to play these games again, man.
Oh, dude, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Like, I did a full Let's Play over the summer of Mass Effect 1 and put it on my channel, but I never
I
got
did 1 and 2, and then I stopped playing because I was like, I don't want to do 3 again.
See,
I wouldn't wanna- I
three
wouldn't
actually
want 3
mechanically is my favorite of the 3.
Well, its gameplay is great.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's everything else.
I don't want to live through that disappointment again.
Man, you know my only request for Mass Effect 4 is that they recapture the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer Vanguard archetype. I hope that comes back. That's the one thing that I
Yeah,
really
probably.
enjoyed. It was so good.
You need to play the stories.
Yeah.
Look, man, I
Bro, and your laptop will run them. Your
Yeah.
laptop will probably max them out.
Yes, I'm gonna need you to play those stories
Yeah.
before you touch part 4. I'm gonna need you to play.
Well,
those
I mean,
stories.
it's a new story arc, so it ain't gonna matter.
Oh,
They already
yeah.
said it's like hundreds of years in the future or whatever. They're not
they?
bringing back any.
I'm
sure
sure they're gonna have. I'm sure they're gonna have like references.
Come on, yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
these writers are not going to resist references to the old.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with that, but that's not what I'm understanding is going to happen.
Garrus is going to show up in the first mission. He's going to be like, "Yo, Garrus, why are you still alive? This is hundreds of years in the future." He's going to be like, "I became God."
I am your Lord and Savior.
No
Biatch.
explanation.
Shout out to Sean
That's it.
And then
Stone.
he's going to make some reference about calibrations.
Yes.
Yeah, he has
You
to.
can't be Garrus without calibrating.
Shout out to Sean Stone. He says Shadow Broker DLC best purchase I made in life. I agree. Not
Hey,
your
I
first
agree.
car, not your first
Best
trip to
DLC
Vegas.
ever.
Yeah, he's a.
Not your
Oh,
wife's
he's a big
wedding
DLC ever,
ring.
my bad.
No,
Your belly.
not the wedding ring.
No. But let's go and get moving on since we totally sidetracked on that one horribly. And let's get back on things.
We just
Let's
talk
get
about games,
to
you know.
talking about Hitman.
As
So
gamers, we like to talk about games.
I know, right? But so Hitman has now been announced to officially be an episodic title. So they're going to release it in episodes, kind of like The Walking Dead, and, you know, those other Telltale games that end up being episodic. My question is this episodic trend going to be the new open world, you know, where everybody's doing open world? Now everybody's going to start doing episodic titles. And is that a good
The
thing
way
if they
I
do
look-
that?
I will say the way I look at it with Hitman Go or whatever, you know, the next Hitman
Go.
game. It's sorry, I didn't mean that. Anyway, the
Hitman
next
Go
Hitman
is
game.
something else.
My problem here is that this isn't episodic because it needs to be episodic. Like if you read what they say, they're flat out like, we're gonna release the tutorial and then like the first missions first, and then while we finish ironing out all the kinks with the next missions. This is early access. Like this isn't fucking episodic. This is them basically having you pay to get an early portion of the game, early access, while they finish the rest of the
Right,
game.
this is completely.
This is not
don't see the
episodic.
point.
This is bullshit.
I don't see the point.
This is total.
I mean,
like
if you do
Hitman.
If
bullshit.
you do it right, it can be done really well. Like Resident Evil Revelations 2 last year did it.
Oh yeah, I'm
really,
not saying.
really well.
I'm saying in this
Well,
specific
in
instance.
uh,
in this instance,
was it the
is-
Wolf Among Us? Wasn't that
Yeah,
one?
one of the Telltale games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Telltale does it pretty well typically. I think it was Wolf. Was it Wolf Among Us that was damn well done on its
I
episode?
like most of the Telltale games, but that one was done really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Or what about Life is Strange?
yeah. Life is that's another damn
like
good
it's
one.
not
Yeah,
a problem with episodic.
I need
It's
to
the
finish
problem
that
with this is being episodic is being used as an excuse. This
I
is
agree.
early access.
Nick, you say you don't understand, but and I may be completely wrong on this, but what this looks to me is just another evolution in these companies trying to claw at any way they can to increase profit margins and stay relevant.
Facts.
Here's the other advantage here is it's even more sinister than just early access idea, because what can happen is they release their little first initial thing of the game, you have all the people pay for it, and then once they release the next episode, they generate more hype for the game and more interest because, oh, we're releasing something new about
well,
the game.
and I will
So
throw
it basically allows them to extend the longevity of the game.
yes.
as well.
Now, in certain ways, one of the ways I will say, aside from Telltale, they tend to do it pretty well. But one of the ways that I will say that it's actually a smart way to do it isn't an MMO, which if you guys didn't know, the Old Republic, their new questing series is episodic. So you have the Knights of the Fallen Empire is an episodic bit, which actually is perfect for an MMO because it allows you to piecemeal out story content over an extended period. Because the problem with MMOs or any kind of major multiplayer title like that, like Warframe, you release a big huge quest line or big huge piece of content, you get some people who, you know, rush out. They haven't done the first fucking night or the first week or whatever. However, the minimum amount of time you can take to play that content, they have it done in less. You know, and then you have other people, maybe they only have a few hours to play a week or whatever, and they take longer to play the game out. And as a result, they end up like going on their social media like, yeah, I'm playing through this game. Someone's like, Luke is Vader's son. And he's like, fuck, I'm done.
Now my other concern is,
bad.
what are their
Defiance
pricing? What are they pricing it at the initial buy?
I think it's full price.
See, that's the other problem, because this is basic. Like, what if you buy it and then they're basically like, you're paying full price and you're trusting us. You know, even people who wait for reviews, it's like, oh, the first part could be okay, and then what if the next few episodes they release are shit?
A lot of people actually wait for the physical retail release for that reason. Like the physical retail release is usually like a month after they finish all the episodes.
You know, Major, another thing that's kind of scary about this is like with the amount of games that do badly, like if your first part of the game doesn't do as well as projected, how much of an incentive for your publishing company is there for them to allow you to continue making more of that game, right?
See, I will say that
what happens if you release one part and then other parts don't get released? That would be kind of shitty for them.
Like a TV show. Yeah. TV show ratings.
I will say this issue has been brought up. This type of issue has been brought up. There is precedent towards this. I'm pretty sure the courts would side in the favor of the consumer on this instance because it's being marketed as episodic and they were being promised future content for their purchase. So if they were to do that, I think, you know, court would be on their side because Kickstarter has, you know, there have been cases of like Kickstarter. I think it was there was some project where you had to prove that they, you know, never intended to do, what was it, like
abandonware.
But with Kickstarter, it's more lenient. But with an actual big company like this, and with what they're promising, I don't see. I don't see them getting away with being able to do stuff.
Yeah, but how are they going to do it if somebody doesn't pay up front? If somebody doesn't
be real, man.
If somebody doesn't pay up front for the extra content, if they're not buying a season pass for it,
see, that's the thing.
How court's going to side with them on that?
At least with Hitman, I don't think you're going to be able to decide you only want to purchase one part. You're paying full price for the full thing or nothing. I don't.
I think the first part is like $15. I think you can pay $15.
Yeah, they usually break it off like that.
It's like that. That's acceptable. However, if it's going to be not like that in the future, which I can definitely see being a possibility.
Well, as of now, they said it's going to be $15 for the first part. But what is the point of doing this though? Like, if it's going to be $60 for the total thing, right? What is the point of making it episodic? Like, I don't see Hitman.
It's basically early access.
It's less risk,
so that they can release the game earlier without having it fully done yet.
Right, there's no reason to do it. This game was supposed to be out December 1st of last year. So why they're releasing it now in piecemeal can really concern me.
Yeah.
This is them basically bullshitting us and doing early access. That's what this is. This is early access. Like,
we gotta stop buying into this type of stuff, man. Because I don't mind developers being innovative, man. But this cash grab, lazy ass stuff.
We didn't finish our game in time, but we still want to make a bunch of money.
This type of stuff.
Right. Well, like I said, I brought up Resident Evil Revelations 2, and the reason I loved it. That first episode was $5. $5. They were releasing episodes weekly, and they had it all out in a month, and the full price was like $25.
Yep.
Yeah. Great business model. Can work. It's just this one instance.
Right. I don't like what they're doing with Crackdown either. Crackdown, they're selling the game. I don't remember the full price. I thought it was full price, and I've heard that it wasn't. I made a video about this a few days ago. where they're releasing the multiplayer for Crackdown 3, and then they're going to release the single player kind of.
Yeah, that's.
Man, come on.
I feel like
Yep.
with episodic games, it's the fact that they're trying to pull this with such a action-orientated game like Hitman. It's like the reason it works for Telltale and it worked for like Life is Strange is because those are story-driven
Yes.
games that
Right.
kind of fill the role. Like you have to have a very specific type of game for episodic.
I don't think
to
Hitman
work.
fits this. Like,
Well,
Hitman doesn't.
what
This
type
is
of cliffhanger are you
shit.
gonna have after each episode to make you want to come back for more in a Hitman?
Especially
game? Like,
with after the story of Absolution.
yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
if you guys played Hitman Absolution.
I didn't finish it. The story was
Its
so bad.
its story is
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah, the
It's
story's
such
complete trash. I
nonsense.
didn't even finish it.
it's not worth it.
It's
It was pretty, though.
garbage.
Unlike
It was a fun game, but its story.
I didn't
was
even think it was that
garbage.
fun. I just thought
Eh.
it was a pretty game.
Yeah, like I
It's
said,
alright.
I'm still holding to it that I think honestly, the best way to implement it is kind of the way, because honestly, now, in some ways, depending on the speed at which you release it, $15 could be seen as expensive. Now, with the way, as far as the value argument, how much is a game worth to you, that sort of thing. In my mind, the way that I think Telltale, they're usually like $5 or $10 for theirs, right?
$5-10, or yeah, $5 I think per episode,
Yeah, something
and
like that.
then you end up getting the whole season for like $25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
like, as far as a value concept, you have to kind of look at the incumbent, kind of champions of that. Like the Old Republic, the way that they work it is you get it as a subscriber. Whenever a new chapter is released and you are a subscriber, you get that content. And then if you happen to not be a subscriber midway through it, it's okay. You can still finish. So it's you could essentially think of it as being, depending on how you pay for your subscription, $12 to $15 per episode. But that's not really it, because subscribing to an MMO also gives you other benefits other than just that content. So
Well, how many MMOs are really subscription based these days?
only
Just WoW.
WoW. Well, SOTOR is not subscription based. It's free to play with a subscription model.
Yeah, you can get
additionally.
bonuses if you subscribe.
Same with ESO. A lot of the free to play. ESO is not free to play. It's gonna be probably at some point. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's going that way. It's got the microtransaction store. It's got.
Well, they still expect you to make an actual initial purchase of the game too.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it's eventually gonna be free to play. It's not right now. You have to buy the game. I got it for like $8 off of Green Man. So whatever, but yeah, they have a subscription model in there as well. So it's very common for games that have no subscription model to have a premium access of some kind that you can subscribe to monthly. I know that these aren't the best example because, let's be honest, this company is a piece of shit. But Perfect World games like Neverwinter and Star Trek Online, they also have a premium subscription model to them as well. But I will never buy that because fuck Perfect World. They are a piece of shit.
Why are they pieces of shit?
Die
I don't know much about this
slow.
developer.
Perfect World, die slow.
They are the epitome of pay to win.
Oh,
They-
fuck them.
They're horrible.
They started it.
monetization
They
methods.
started it.
They start. I would say if they didn't, they are damn close. And essentially, you can watch Neverwinter and Star Trek Online were both made by Cryptic Studios before Perfect World was involved. Perfect World bought Cryptic Studios. You look at the game before the purchase and afterwards. You had what felt like a great D&D game in Neverwinter. One of the few good D&D games in Neverwinter. And then all of a sudden, they pot it, and I log into the fucking game, and I just see, like, popping up on the screen, this person won this item from this chest. Don't you want to gamble too? And it's like, shit, It's just like gamble bullshit all over the place. Illegal gambling, I might add. And then...
It's the Mass Effect 3 RNG.
No, it's worse because it's
Nothing's
like...
worse than that.
No, it is. Because here's the thing.
It's literally digital pachinko machines, right?
It's getting even worse because once you get to the end game content, you have to build your end game gear to do all the high level shit. You have to build these items, like I think it's like imbuing glyphs into your equipment. That in order to imbue a glyph, you have to get these components together, which requires grinding. hours of grinding oftentimes. In which case, then you have to fuse them together. But wait, you can't just fuse them together. It's a RNG process for that. It has a 1% fucking chance of success. 1% chance of success. Unless you spend money on the little thing that gives you a guaranteed success.
So are they still worse than Payday 2?
But wait, we're not done yet.
Wait,
We're not done yet. Then, once you have that component, then you have to grind multiples of that component and to fuse it into the armor, which then has a 1% success chance. So you have 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, and then 1% for all that. It's like, fuck you, Perfect World. Fuck you. Because it's all it is a cash grab. Because they're more or less forcing you. If you don't want to spend years grinding away on that shit, you have to spend money to get it done in any reasonable amount of time.
But it's still a 1% drop rate.
No, it's not 1%. It's a 1% craft rate. What is this going on there? I don't know what the hell, why Nightbot really hates Leg and Pig. It's really funny.
Come watch this on YouTube, bro.
Yeah, you're going to have to come over to YouTube, man. Nightbot really hates you. I'm trying to get it fixed right now, but he's typing just normal shit. He was saying, like...
Legend posts matter.
He said, I think devs are being lazy with early access. To be honest, Minecraft is Epic Alpha Beta Season Passes. Why?
Conspiracy.
And then it just just went through and deleted all those messages. I'm like, why? He didn't do anything. He didn't break any of Nightbot's rules.
Too much truth.
Let's go ahead and get moving on to the third story before I kick,
Boy, kick Nightbot?
Yeah, kick Nightbot. I think Nightbot's done for the day. Goodbye, Nightbot.
Nightbot, have a snippet. Bro.
If I'll manually ban you guys if you try to fuck shit up. I'll let you know that ahead of time. But yeah,
You go.
like don't just because I'm making Nightbot go away doesn't mean that I'm gonna let the Twitch chat go to shit. I will fucking ban you.
Time for them dank memes, everyone.
But in any case, Nightbot's gone. Nightbot's gone out of there. So now no more random banning.
All
Now
right,
let's
Twitch
get moving
chat,
on.
time to riot.
Yeah. Now let's go ahead and get moving on to our final story of the night here. So the final story is a little bit happier, not as much bitching.
But I like to bitch.
Not really happy.
I like
guess
to complain too.
I guess it's just more notification than anything. But in the wake of Activision and EA both making kind of some serious investments recently into their esports portfolios, ESPN has now created a dedicated esports division. And do you guys think this is going to have some more serious reverberating impacts on the esports world and the entertainment world in general?
No. I think it's going to give esports a home. And that's what I like about it. But I think a lot of people are going to cry, piss, and moan, and it's going to get taken down. Unless they'll keep it just online.
I gave a lot of my thoughts on esports already. I don't like it simply because I don't like what professional sports is right now. And I really don't want that for esports, but we're already heading there, so whatever. It's big business infested. Big business corporations get in there, advertisers get in there, and then suddenly it's not about the game anymore. It's about brands, it's about teams,
and sometimes even the business aspect of it can ruin the game. Look at Call of Duty. They're trying so hard to make Call of Duty a super competitive esports game. That it's pissing a lot of the Call of Duty audience off who doesn't give a damn about esports. They just want to play a casual shooter.
I want esports to be its own. I don't want it to even be esports. I want it to be, like
competitive gaming.
Like I don't want to be. I don't want to have sports in the title. It's like it needs to be its own thing. Like why do we need to be on ESPN? Why do we need to be esports?
Why do we need to be a sport? And this has been my argument too.
No.
Esports
Listen,
don't need to necessarily be a sport. It can be a competitive thing.
No, Kev. So why do they not need to be a sport? What is so adamant about you insisting that they need to?
Because the professional sports scene is awful. That's my reason. It's not because
part of it.
And you think the esports scene is not awful? Why do you think I'm not involved in that shit anymore?
That's why I said it could be better. Like that's the problem is they're trying to emulate sports too much. They're trying to emulate it, and
it's too late. It's too late.
That's why I don't give two shits.
I think the foundation is bad. Like there's no reason they can't just be a competitive game scene. Like trying to emulate sports, I just don't think is the way to go.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
just
the way to go.
I don't care anymore.
Because all that's going to happen is, people have this conception, this is what sports are, and now they're just going to be constantly fighting that uphill battle against this is what sports are, and the more you fight that battle, the less time you spend legitimizing competitive gaming as competitive activity.
Well, here's my thing. This is kind of where I go with it, is that it's already kind of in its own circle been very much legitimized. It doesn't need to prove itself. They have, and they're developing more and more rules as new shit is coming up. Some of the things that they haven't had rules on before, like substance abuse. While Adderall has been abused in the esports scene for a while, that wasn't really something that had a precedent. Like, it's not steroids. No one really had a precedent for Adderall being a performance-enhancing drug. So that was kind of,
it is in the same respect.
Yeah, it is very much, and that's why it's banned now. It's something that didn't have a precedent. They got it fixed up, but in a lot of ways, it's been run fairly professionally and fairly well put together for a long time. Like MLG, which got bought by Activision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Activision bought MLG. MLG's been doing shit pretty well for years. Years back, I think, was it like Unreal Tournament is where MLG got its start? Like, that's like 15 years ago. I think it's somewhere.
Another issue I have, but an issue I foresee with esports is, at least with its widespread acceptance, is when you look at major sports, it's like baseball, football, basketball, they've maybe had very minor changes, but overall, the game is very similar to what it was 10 or 20 years, maybe even 30 years ago. Gaming, though, how often do games change, like video
Depends
games?
on the game. Counter-Strike hasn't changed much in 15 years.
Dota's been around for how long now?
I'm just saying, like, they update, change. It
depends on the game. I think it just depends on the game. Like, if you were talking Call of Duty, it's basically a new game every year.
I'm just saying, I don't see people playing. Like, I just don't see the competitive scene staying there for something like Dota or League 10 years down the line. Like, 10 years from now, I don't see... Maybe there are sequels coming out. Maybe. But I just don't see them still being like...
Well, the thing is, Joe, like Dota's had a competitive scene. It wasn't as large as it is now, but it's had a competitive scene for quite a long time.
Yep.
And it's getting on, like 10, 15 years now, something like that. Like, crazy. Yep. It's been around.
I'm just bringing up they have more changes.
Okay, I'll throw this out there. This is kind of a revisionist history. When you talk about like changes over time, 10 or 15 years, Dota has largely remained exactly the same, and it's still played competitively. They add new characters, but that's like roster changes in football.
They change the rules slightly.
Here's the thing: do football players still play in leather helmets? No, they've updated things. They've made things better, safer.
Rules have been different.
Rules have been changed. It's the same thing with baseball, with any other sport you look at. Things have changed. Things will change in every sport, just like in competitive esports. But if you look at all the competitive esports games, their iterations remain very, very similar. Like Call of Duty, let's be honest, it really hasn't changed a whole lot. Like Advanced Warfare was probably the biggest iteration jump for that game, which was relatively minor. Let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things. That's my thing, is that when you look at the real big competitive ones, Halo still operates exactly the freaking same. Halo 5 to Halo 2, I have not seen a damn bit of difference. When I watched the Halo Championship series that I've been watching on Twitch recently, guess what? I'm like, I can remember doing that exact same fucking thing in Halo 2. Like, a lot
of people enjoy it. A lot of people love it.
You still juggle the fucking flag.
Give it enough time, you'll see. I don't know.
Well, I don't think they'll get tired of it. I think it'll be a success.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It really depends on the game. If you can keep the game similar long enough, like you bring up Counter-Strike, it has not really changed in 15, 16 years, like, at all.
Yeah, the thing is I don't think those games will die in popularity. They may hit a plateau. I definitely think that's a possibility. And what I can see is that at one point it'll hit a peak fan base, say for League of Legends specifically. League of Legends will hit a peak fan base, and then Dota 2 will hit its peak fan base, and then said like say Heroes of the Storm or Smite will hit their peak fan bases and find an equilibrium. New fans will influx into the scene, but they'll usually hop onto whatever is the newest thing.
Or the most popular one, whatever.
Yeah, or
That's
the
what I
most
said.
popular.
As much as we say these games have had 10, 15 years as a competitive scene, it's like competitive scene hasn't blown up the way it has until last few years. I don't see it staying the longevity with some of these games as much as you guys are looking at it. I just don't.
I mean, I'm not saying.
I think fads change, interests change, and I see people moving on to different genres or different games. At least the viewership. I just don't see people, 10, 15 years down the line, going and watching Dota and League the same way.
I could honestly
maybe future iterations, maybe
Maybe
not. The same way.
maybe not. I don't think we've quite hit a. I don't think we've quite hit the right note for a game in the West yet. Like in Eastern countries, in China, in Korea, like StarCraft is still played in Korea.
Yeah,
and it's still a big thing in Korea.
I'll bring up the idea though also that it's
Dota
if these games
massive in
stay.
China.
If it keeps this trend, it's this type of trend is the reason Call of Duty hasn't changed either. It's should we really be encouraging
Well, I mean,
in those titles, I think it's okay if they're gonna.
Right.
I think it's okay for certain titles to be stagnant if there's a legitimate cause for the stagnancy. In this case,
the Call of Duty community actually hated the changes for the large part in Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
of course.
Well, I mean, I think I generally have quite a bit of personal experience in terms of viewership. I know I can't remember. I know Morty's or I know Zyphon has done competitive Halo. I think I'm not sure if Morty did.
No,
but,
that was me.
Oh, that was.
I
you,
know
not
we sound a lot alike.
I can never remember which one of you it was,
Yeah.
but
we both played Halo though. Yeah.
I went to Seattle last year for the Dota 2 International Championship.
Mhm.
I went into Key Arena and experienced that, and it felt like going to any other sport. Basically, everybody was a little bit nerdier and more awkward, but there were teams, people chanting for their teams all over the place, and it was crazy. And the experience was very reminiscent of sports games that I'd gone to and watched in person, despite it being, just people sitting in booths playing video games.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's maybe where I'm coming from, and I look down, and it's we're pushing in the ideals of major sports and what are established sports onto gaming, and we were talking about how we wanted to be its own thing. It's I feel like gaming in general, the advantage of games is their ability to advance and evolve, and that's why I feel like it's detrimental to sit and
maybe
maintain a certain game and just keep it there.
I think
I
there's
think
a
that's
market
okay
for
for
it,
some
but that's
games.
a separate. That's why we have separate markets, right? Major
Yeah.
This is appealing to a different market from what you're talking about, and
I think some games are gonna stay that way
Yeah.
anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's kind of like I was watching a video this morning. The guy, I don't remember his name, but he was saying he doesn't think progression systems belong in shooters. The
Which is
reason
what
being-
Halo does. Well, Halo used to do.
Hold on, let me think. No, Halo still largely does it.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was, he says that because have everything unlocked from the beginning and let people get better, and and let the skill gap be the difference. Let people just get good and continually improve in game, as opposed to okay, well, I play more and I get more guns.
Well,
There are people that want that stagnation in games that say, okay, well, these are all my tools, and I have to learn how to use them effectively.
Well, in
I think it's more of a complaint that we have progression systems like Battlefield where it's you want to use this attachment on your gun, this underbarrel shotgun? Well, you need to get 300 kills with your assault rifle. It's why do I arbitrarily have to do
He made a
this?
similar complaint, but he flat out did say he didn't want it because of the competitive nature. He wanted everything from jump so that he can work on getting good at the game and not.
It's the other idea that it's newer players come in, and if it's all based on progression systems and progressing makes you more capable.
Yeah.
It's like newer players come in and they're at a disadvantage. That's also really
They're
awful.
double,
Yeah, that was what
double
he said there, too.
disadvantage.
Not
They're
all
a
games do it
disadvantage
the
of
same.
skill, and they're a disadvantage of equipment. Right?
Well, in certain ways too. Like I said, this is one of the reasons why I liked Halo, and one of the things why I think it's still a preeminent, shooter for the MLG scene is because it is designed from the base to have a zero progression system. It's the weapons are
at
on the
least with-
map. You come in, like everything's the same. At least in the competitive matches, I think that they've added iteration to other multiplayer.
Yeah, they've added
types.
loadouts and all that
Yeah,
nonsense.
but-
like Halo, there was an advantage to the old games where like everyone was on equal footing.
Mhm.
You spawn and you have the same gun as the other ass had across the map.
And you know
and
what?
It comes down to like,
It's still
your
to this
skill.
day the most commonly used multiplayer weapon is
The battle
fucking
rifle.
pistol.
DMR.
No, the
DRM?
fucking pistol.
In 5, it was the battle rifle. The battle rifle. The pistol's
No,
used a
the
lot,
pistol
but
is still. I still see the.
Are you
pistol
talking about
being-
competitive, or are you talking about
Competitive.
Oh,
Competitive.
okay, yeah, I'm talking about in actual playing the game.
No,
Oh.
competitive. Like when I was doing Team SWAT, yeah, battle rifle everything because 3 taps, enemies down. Doesn't matter.
DMR.
Team SWAT, yeah, that DMR, the battle rifle, whatever, that's going to be a guaranteed kill if all 3 of those bullets hit. So that was where that was really tactical. That, and it gave you the zoom option on there, so you could hit longer range targets. It was very versatile. But I'll be honest, that pistol, especially if you're playing capture the flag, you juggle with that pistol, gives you that fast response time, and you can hit targets really quick. Yeah. The pistol was not OP in Halo 2, despite many people's claim. It got nerfed like fucking hell going from
It
Halo 1
was
to
shit in
Halo 2.
3 as well.
Yeah, like they
'cause you
nerfed
fire
the
from
shit out
across
of
the
it.
map in Halo 1.
Like, no, the thing
Halo
is
1
that
was
Halo 1. There's so many jokes about the
fucking
Halo 1
snipe.
pistol was so ridiculous because it had 2
You could
times
snipe with
zoom.
it.
Yeah, you could snipe with that fucking thing and one shot everything. Halo 2, they nerfed the shit out of it, but it was still very usable because you could saturate bullets on shielded enemies in your non-SWAT environments, and it was very quick. It was very quick and easy to use. It was great if you're doing capture the flag and you were the flag runner because you could juggle the flag, and they still do that. That's one of the things I love about that as a title in the MLG scene as opposed to Call of Duty. There's always going to be a pistol, and there's always going to be flag juggling. Every fucking time. I don't care if it's Halo 26,
flag
they're going to be juggling that fucking flag. It's never going to change. It's that's why I think it's legitimate for an esport, or why it's legitimate as a sport is because you're going to look down at people are going to be high stepping into the the end zone in the NFL, and they're going to be dunking basketballs, and that's not going to change. Uniforms may change. Maybe the color of their skin might change, because once upon a time all the athletes were, a certain very fair pigment, and now that's not nearly as much, but that's about it. Yeah. Anyway, let's get moving on to our
I want to
Okay.
acknowledge the chat too while we're over here too. Something while you were saying this, and somebody asked a really interesting question. Legend said, "Do you think games are moving to only online multiplayer experience?
Only online?
Yeah, online only games. Do you think that's going to become a trend?
Yeah, I think it's a trend now.
I think very much so, and I definitely
Yes.
I don't mind.
Okay,
some
let
games.
me qualify this. I'm going to say no. And the reason why,
How dare you disagree?
some video games, yes, will be moving to multiplayer only. Video games as a whole, hell no.
No, not
Hell
as
no.
a whole.
Yeah, I-
Like
Not
Fallout
some-
4, Fallout 4 taught us anything.
Yeah,
is
not as
that-
a whole, but I
Witcher
think it is
3.
a trend. I
Witcher
think that,
3, yeah. But Fallout 4 just killed sales numbers. The
Yeah, we're never
Uncharted,
going to be totally killing off.
Not
single
totally, but I
player
think the
Yeah.
experience.
percentage is getting higher. Like,
Right.
really.
What
I think it's
what
catching.
what I really would like to see though more of
Mhm.
is I know where everybody says all their games be single player. I wasn't bothered say that that Rainbow Six Siege or even Battlefront didn't have single player because a lot of
course.
time these games that focus on multiplayer have really bad single players.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is,
I'd rather than take
Call
the
of
time
Duty
to-
actually has a damn well made single player.
right.
Unless
Yeah,
the-
Call of Duty is a very good complete package.
yeah, but the
Yeah,
thing
Black
is,
Ops 3 single player was great.
the thing is, and this is what I'll say is, I'm okay with it just having multiplayer if it actually has some fucking depth to the multiplayer or it charges a cheap price for it. So Siege, I'm okay with Siege's price, and I'm okay with it being multiplayer only because it gives me a very complex, deep multiplayer package. It gives me value for that money. I'm still gonna say Battlefront.
But I think it also depends on what person you want, because some people don't want the complexity too. Like you have to look at the gamer too. Like if you are happy with
Honestly,
casual games,
I feel like there's some statistics I might be able to find that would disagree with that.
well, no. I'm saying that there are like kids, for example. Like I was playing, my son plays Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, and there's a lot of kids on there that they play it. It's a simple, casual, easy game. There's no single player to it, and they love it.
Yeah, but here's my thing: is that, like I said, I feel like, and when I say complexity, I don't mean something that's hard to understand. I mean complexity as in you
The
have
skill
more than 10 fucking guns in the entire thing, or the like in Halo's multiplayer. It's the system is designed on skill. You know, like the maps are rather simplistic. It's an arena shooter. Point and simple. Like, I think there's other game modes in Halo 5. I haven't played it, so I can't say. But what I can say is the game modes that have been in there, they're pretty cut and dry. It's all about the experience of that gameplay. But let's be honest, Halo is not multiplayer only. It's got they put a lot of time into the single player campaign or the co-op campaign of that game. So that's like the multiplayer is like not even 30% of the total effort of that game. So that's one part of it. Whereas you have Call of Duty, there's some like I'm not necessarily a big Call of Duty fan, but there's some progressions. You level up stuff, you unlock things. It gives you incentive to keep playing it. You learn little tips of the guns. You learn, hey, maybe I like this suppressor, or maybe I like this attachment or that one. You experiment. You configure things. It gives you some depth into that. Whereas Battlefront, it's like I have 10 guns. Once I get the DR-44, I'm done.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say with Call of Duty, you don't forget Zombies. Zombies has its own community.
Yeah, it's got a whole big community to it. Yeah, so like that has depth to it. Like I said, that's my argument on Battlefront is the lack of. Now, not to say that there aren't people that will play that. I just don't think it should be $60. I don't think it should be $30. I think it should be $20. Because if honestly, and that's the same thing with Titanfall and Evolve. Because
Titanfall is a damn good game, though. Titanfall. The only problem with Titanfall, it needed more guns.
Not
It
for
needed more
$60.
guns. It needed more Titans. That was my beef with
yeah,
Titanfall.
and what I noticed very quickly about that game is it felt like the Titans were just a reflection of the people. So it felt like nothing really changed except for you gotten bigger and now you're focusing on enemy Titans.
I will say
You know?
the overall Titan feeling was actually, I felt there was more to it than that because of how the parkour and how fast your movement was on foot.
Yeah, you're slower.
It did
now.
change going into the Titan. The problem was though is that there weren't enough Titans. Like all three of the primary archetypes behaved very similarly, other than just one's light,
PvZ
one's
is
medium,
the pop
one's
music of
heavy.
games. Oh, well said, Siphon.
I
Plants
actually
vs. Zombie
disagreed
is
with
the
him in
pop
chat.
music of games.
I actually disagreed with him in the chat. Just
I know.
because it's very much so. Like,
What's wrong with Plants vs Zombies?
Yeah, it's very much
It's-
so.
Plants vs. Zombies is
pop-
cool, man.
Hey,
It's cool.
you know what?
Joe, you love this damn
You can
game.
like Katy Perry if you want. No one will judge you.
When I think of the pop
You
music,
want to listen to One Direction? That's fine. Go ahead.
Hold on, let me finish. When I'm saying,
That's all day.
I'm thinking it's safe. Like Call of Duty is just, Call of Duty is just safe, and that's what I think.
Yeah,
about
Call of Duty is kind of.
This is very much so Team Fortress,
Yeah.
and Joe got more time in it. He could probably tell you a lot more about it than I did.
Which game?
Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare.
Yeah, that game was fun. Like, here's the thing.
I've been saying it's pop music of games. I'm like, I don't know if I go that far.
But yeah.
like
Very
it's not
it reminds me a lot of
true.
Team Fortress.
I enjoy the art style. I enjoy the class-based combat. That's pretty much it. I enjoy playing the game. Like, if you don't like the art style, that alone could turn you off.
So
Because that's a big
Garden
draw,
Warfare,
I think, is the art
that was
style.
like a shooter, right?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
first
Shooter.
fortress-based shooter kind of thing. Oh, yeah, that looked really
That's what
just
made
like
I
it.
was,
That's what made
I
it
was able
cool.
to run around as
The
a
shooter.
giant man-eating flower. I
right.
could burrow under the ground
Yeah.
and act like a fucking predator. You know, just
Yeah, it
sneak
was
around,
like,
just gobble up people from
like
underneath.
Plants
My
Plants
son's
vs.
been playing it all
Zombies.
weekend.
Plants
And-
vs Zombies is such a Oh, continue, Kev.
Oh, okay.
Finish.
My son's been playing it all weekend, and he's been running around as a giant orange, rolling over people. Like that is awesome.
So
Yeah,
let's.
think about Plants-
Is this the new one? Is this the brand new
Yeah,
one?
this is
Or
the one. It's on beta on X1.
Oh, I haven't played the
right now.
newest one.
So-
okay.
Is it a
Okay.
console exclusive?
The beta is right now, but
The beta
the
is.
full game when it comes out in March will be on.
Didn't the
PC,
original
Xbox One.
come out for Xbox first and then PC a little bit later?
Yes, it came out on
Yeah.
Xbox One. It was like a launch title. Then
Yeah.
it came out in like
I thought
3
it-
months later on PC, and then it came out like that summer on PS4.
It came
See,
out
when
for
I
free on
first
PS4.
heard
EA
that they
gave
were
to us
doing
for
it,
free.
and they were like, "Here's Garden Warfare. It's a shooter." I was one of those people who was like,
What?
What?
Did
But
you watch the trailer for it?
it turned out
Like,
great.
the trailer looked so good though. Like,
Yeah, when I
yeah.
saw the trailer,
Whenever
I
I
was on
first-
board.
when I first heard about it, I'm like, what? Like that? Like because Plants vs Zombies is so like, like big, like ridiculous,
Yeah.
microtransaction money, Candy Crush.
Plants vs
type
Zombies
thing.
2 is the
Yeah.
original one was great. It didn't have
Right.
microtransactions.
But then I saw like the gameplay and like
and I liked
the developers, and I'm like, this sounds kind of cool. Like they're taking this interesting concept that's very iconic, and they're making something that looks really fun.
what
Yeah,
was
the game
really
is
nice
fun.
is that the
I played a little bit. The
monetization
game's fun as hell.
model, too, is they had monetization and it was like Mass Effect and that you bought your random packs. But what was nice about Garden Warfare is the vast majority of the stuff you unlock through those packs was cosmetics, different like sunglasses or hats or accessories you could put.
I
on
want
your
to
kit.
put some top hats and glasses
You could
on
get
my giant
a gold-
orange.
You could get a giant gold top hat that was studded with fucking diamonds.
Nice.
It just ridiculous. amount of
So
stuff.
just let's just so to bring it back full circle though, talking about all of these things, and to kind of tie it into our evergreen and kind of close up with that here fairly soon here, is with all of this stuff. One of the things I hear about a lot of these, like with talking about esports, one of the things that and to bring it back to what we were first talking about with the Division, is the hype and how it's kind of let us down, right? Like the hype of the game versus the actuality of it, and getting into these esports and shooter games where we get the hype of the new esport, coming out or whatever, and the actuality that some people run into where games like, they feel like Battlefront is not complex, or they like Plants vs Zombies, or they feel like Plants vs Zombies is the pop music. My whole thing is hype and kind of expectation, or the hype train, as it were. Kev's favorite thing, the hype train.
Choo choo.
Is it good or bad overall? Like sales
awful.
benefits, expectations, franchising. What does the hype train do to a game release? And I'm not talking about any specific game here, just a game release.
It's okay to be excited for games. Like, I don't want to be one of those people. Like, I've seen people who are literally just like, you should be, like, how dare you not get excited for a release? It's like, it's alright to get excited for a release, but too many people let it, like, go overboard and become almost anti-consumer, and that
Kev
they're
doesn't
just,
know what
like,
you're talking about.
throwing money at it, pre-ordering. It's like, I'm excited for games, but you know what? I can also expect that,
Wait, what are you talking about, Star Citizen?
it's like,
It's funny. When we did our episode talking about Star Citizen, I still get comments about that video. People mad that we kind of shit on Star Citizen.
Dude,
they would call
I'm
it, it's vaporware. It's not coming out. Like,
They keep releasing little tidbit teasers to keep you interested. They're baiting
Not
you.
coming out.
Stop giving them fucking money.
Shut up and take my money. No.
Anyway, so Nick, what do you think? What do you think? Hype train, good or bad?
I'm going to say it is bad only because nowadays gamers hype games up so much that it's just to the point where when the game comes out, there's no way the game can live up to those expectations. It's like the internet is a plague. It's like you get a few people on the internet, they see one little trailer,
I know there's
and
a
they
lot of
automatically name the thing Game of the Year. Like it's
Well,
automatically Game of the Year.
I know there's
it's the best thing ever.
There's a lot of
And-
politicians that would agree that that the internet's a plague.
It's terrible.
You see where I went with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with you though. I think that's a fairly good point.
No,
So Travis,
and the game doesn't have a chance though. Is what I'm saying. It has
Yeah.
no chance to live up to those expectations at that point. There's
And they're
nothing
only
they-
playing the game for a week anyway.
yeah, and they're only gonna play for a week. So Travis, what do you think? Yay or nay?
Oh man, like I don't know. Like it's hard for me because I just don't get hyped anymore. Like I get slightly excited, but then I tell myself, just dial it down a little bit. I seriously I avoid hype because I've been burned. I've been burned so many times by it.
Yeah.
And I got super hyped for Brink. It looked so good.
Oh.
Like it
Chrome
was
Hounds, man.
so,
Chrome Hounds.
so good. Like Brink looked so good, and it didn't deliver at all. And at that point, that was just like a turning point in my life. And I'm just like, yeah, like why would I? What logic is there to get so excited and so invested in this thing that I have no guarantee is going to be good? That the companies have a vested interest in making me as excited and as possible and as hyped as possible, despite them, not really having as much incentive to make their game good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because once I buy that game,
Mhm.
they don't care if I like it.
True.
So, that's what this whole first week sales kind of thing is geared towards, is getting as many people to buy it as possible before reviews come out. And as long as that's a thing, I'm gonna avoid hype.
It's inherently, they use it as an anti-consumer tool.
Mm-hmm. They use reviews as an anti-consumer tool. Like, reviews don't have to be a bad thing. Embargoes don't have to be bad, for example. But
Shadow
they've
of
been abused
Mordor.
so much that people think embargoes are bad.
Shadow of Mordor, classic example.
That
given
game was amazing.
Gag order on the game, like they couldn't say anything bad about it, and it turned out to be awesome. Like, what the fuck was the deal?
Everybody loves Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. So, Kev, what do you think? Yay or nay?
I'm gonna say nay. I understand the hype train because I look at it like an event. Anybody, like, especially if it's a game that you thought looked really interesting. You really want to play it. I've tried to level down my hype some, and I've done it for some games. Some games overtook me. Fallout overtook me a little bit. I've been better over it over the last year than I have been in years past. Like Mass Effect 3 when they were announcing it, I was sitting there like on the edge of my seat for 2 years. Like, I was that hyped for that game. And that probably is probably why the ending didn't bother me as much. I didn't like the original ending, but I was fine with the extended cut. I'm still to this day fine with the extended cut. But I see where people are coming from. But I think sometimes too, people hype games and they hype them to the high heavens to the point where they're not going to be satisfied. Like everybody talks about, for example, Aliens Colonial Marines. I heard was a bad one. I'm seeing you in the chat.
That game was bad.
No. What it was is they
Yeah.
released a gameplay video and it looked fucking amazing, like kind of like Division, right? And then it, like, they said nothing about it, just kept playing that same video. And when it came out, it was so bad, so bad.
Do something like Dying Light. Dying Light had no hype. It is like the sleeper hit of 2000.
Yeah, dude, I still need to
Nobody
play
talks
that.
about Dying Light. That game is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What was another one? Or the hype where I think people sometimes overestimated it was Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I think people, not that they overhyped it. I think the game deserved the hype. Is it the best Fallout game? No. Is it one of my favorite? Is it my favorite Fallout game that I played? Yes. I still think 3 is a better game. Yeah. I can understand what some people might say New Vegas is a better game. I still prefer 4.
The thing about 4 is if you go in not expecting it to be an RPG, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a good open world shooter. It's not a very good RPG.
Watch
We
Dogs.
talked about this before.
Yeah, Watch
like
Dogs is
action
another
games.
example
Fallout
of a hype.
4.
That's the prime example. That's what started this.
No,
next
Aliens
gen.
Colonial Marines was the prime example. That's the one that kind of started.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs came after that, and yes, that one was another monumental
Destiny.
fuck up of the hype trailer. Destiny, yeah. But the thing is, you know what Destiny was? That was a royal fuck up in marketing. Now, Fable, as Zyphon will say, now...
Are you talking about Fable Legends?
No, the original Fable. Now, that was a little bit different. Fable failed on a hype, not on a hype train, but on their marketing because Peter
They
Molyneux
failed
was so
on Peter Molyneux's
Molyneux was
like,
just a fuck up
big
in
mouth.
general.
His big
Yeah.
mouth. That's what it was.
Don't believe Peter Molyneux.
He was
No.
so excited about this
He
project.
will promise you.
He promised the world like a dynamic sun tanning system where essentially if your hero spends most of their time out in the day, they're going to end up nice and tan. And
Like, pretty sure when he was doing interviews and like claiming that the game would have features, he was just high. He was high as fuck.
Yeah, I'm
And he
fine.
was just
He
like,
was high, I tell you.
man,
He
this
was high.
game will be amazing. And then like the designers come up and they're like, Peter Molyneux, they're like, Pete,
There's no
there's
way
no way
we
we
can
can
do
do
that.
this.
Yeah.
He was just like, right, just do whatever.
Hey, what happened to his Connect game? It was a little boy they were showing off, and
talking
you
about-
could talk to the little boy. And
That
I
was
forgot
just,
what
I
it was
think,
called.
tech, wasn't it?
yeah, it was a tech demo.
Didn't he say something like that was coming out or something?
No, it was a tech demo.
That's all it was.
Yep.
Oh.
That was the creepy, that was also the creepy Stalker Connect thing where they were demoing that it could read your facial expressions. Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
Yeah. I passed.
Yeah, that shit was a little on the creepy side. Like I want my console saying, "You had an argument with your wife. Are you upset?" No, fuck you, stay away, stay away. We ain't doing this Deus Ex Machina bullshit.
We not ready.
But yeah, in any case, I'm gonna say, overall, I know Kev actually, even though he dislikes the hype train, he also kind of enjoys it, like the thrill of the build up of a launch of a game in a certain way,
In a reasonable
way.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
like that's it. Like
That's-
I
that's
look at
the
it
point.
very much so like an event.
Yeah,
Like, do you get excited for a new movie or do you get excited for a new TV
Yeah.
show?
Yeah.
Hell,
I mean-
some people get excited for the new pair of Jordans. I'm not a sneakerhead anymore, so no, that's not my thing. But I understand.
we
some
were
people's
talking
like-
about that. That is just that's a semblance of oppression right there. Jordans are a semblance of oppression.
We need to fight the system.
I'm gonna
Paying kids
say
a nickel a day to make Jordans.
I feel like if I go too much farther, this is going to turn into a racial podcast, and let's leave it at that.
Let's do it.
No. Point is, yeah, and goodbye. Told you, motherfucker. Don't screw around in my Skype or my Twitch channel. You will be fucking banned.
Oh.
Posting link. Please click this link. Nope. Bye. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna say it's overall though it's kind of a bad thing with what it's done. Like all that the hype train at this point is turned into is the pre-order train, and that's
Right.
my problem.
Yep.
And that's why I stopped pre-ordering games.
I hate that because that's where I see it as anti-consumerist, because one of the things they've tried to do is press you to pre-order these games before any review content comes out for them, and then they give the reviewers
Trust us with your
so
money.
yeah so little time to review them and get them out, to where oftentimes people pre-ordering the game don't get a chance to actually see that actual review in time to cancel their pre-order if they need to. Now I will say,
and sometimes reviews work against them too. Like the Order 1886, I thought was a great game. They got shit on in the reviews. The only problem I really had with the Order 1886, it was a little short, but I felt like the game was, other than that, really good.
Generic cover-based shooter.
there
It
was a
was
lot of
interesting.
there was a lot of problems
There are a lot of
legitimately.
interesting
The story was pretty interesting.
For
Yeah,
six,
it was a
that
pretty
was
interesting.
that was another
read
thing
Fox
where for $60, that's the value proposition. If you're gonna give
Problem
me
is-
if you're gonna give me a game that's 4 hours, 6 hours of gameplay, and it doesn't really have anything else other than just that single player kind of Rails cover based shooter thing, and that's it.
It was
60
8 hours on hard mode.
When I
Yeah.
see
I
the
didn't know they
promotional
were normally
content,
about 8 hours.
when I
This
first
is
saw them
a-
announce the
To me,
order,
that
I
was
was
longer
like,
than an Uncharted game.
this looks great. It's like steampunk, kind of supernatural
Yeah.
shooter where we're gonna be hunting fucking werewolves and vampires. And you go into it, and it's like, at first they're like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing. And then what happens? You're in a fucking cover-based shooter shooting dudes.
Not
you
to
spend
mention
most of the game.
the final boss is
shooting
this
dudes.
exact same
it's
boss
just like-
as the middle boss. Like, there's so much shit that was fucked
There's
on
just
that.
they spend so much time going, it's
You see-
cinematic.
I feel like a lot of times games are not priced for what they are. they're priced for the market standard, right?
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good point.
Which is why I'll give props to Dragon's Dogma for not having the gall to charge $60.
Well, it's
and
an
the
old
thing
game.
is-
It's an old game. The market standard is about 20, 30 bucks.
Now, while Metal Gear did have just to kind of go on what Legend was saying, Metal Gear did have a lot of hype failures, most particularly the story that a lot of people kind of glossed over. Right, they ignored a lot of Metal Gear stuff, but that engine, the gameplay engine in that game was fucking great.
Like, I've seen many people bring up, it's like, Metal Gear Solid 5, yes, is the weakest Metal Gear storyline by far.
I don't know.
However,
Have you played Metal Gear Solid 2? That shit just went off the fucking rails at
2
the
is
end.
amazing.
2 would just went.
2
It went from
amazing.
kind of weird.
It is the most meta
It's-
game I've ever played.
It started as a little weird, you know, and
I'm
then
the
it
type
kind of
of
got
person-
crazy, and then it just
Metal Gear
went
Solid
batshit.
2.
It was just so gone. I was like, I
Metal
feel
Gear
like I just
Solid
took
2.
drugs.
Did everything that I love about games. I love
It
games
just
that are
got so
either.
crazy.
I love subverting expectations, and that's what I loved about Metal Gear
games
Solid.
that are self-aware are kind of tend to, unless it's done, very
Best-
tastelessly. Self-aware games are generally
The best
very
line in Metal Gear Solid 2: "Turn off the game right now. You've been playing too long." Because every fucking
back to
person, their
Metal Gear
first
Solid
playthrough
5.
of that game has been playing that. They've been just crunching that game for like 10 hours straight to get to that point, and they're fucking sleep deprived, insomniac, and
There's a
hallucinating.
codex call in that game where you're talking to the colonel, and I don't, just in case no one's played it, I want to spoil it. You're talking to the colonel and another character, and they aren't really who they are. You're talking
Don't.
Again, I won't spoil it, but
Yeah.
they end up basically putting a 10-minute conversation speaking about how the evolution of the internet and how our interconnected, technology is going to become. And this was back in 2001 or 2002. A lot of what they said is so fucking true today that it's just like,
It's really good, yeah.
man, they knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, that is true. But one of the
It's
things
just
I
like,
thought was great is
damn.
Just like Back to the Future.
Another good line from that game too was I once saw a purple stuffed worm, or no, how did that go? The purple stuffed worm line, whatever it was. That was great. You're just like, the fuck did he just say? Anyway, yeah. So that game was just off the fucking rails. So as far as story content, Metal Gear Solid's not where you go for story. Let's
Metal
be
Gear
honest.
Solid 5, the thing about Metal Gear Solid 5 is the gameplay is so enjoyable. Like, it's such an enjoyable game to play. You just ignore the story. Like, you just
Yeah,
ignore the story and play the
Zyphon
game.
has the quote that I'm talking about. He posted it in chat. I hear it's amazing when the purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw space with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harry Carey Rock. I need scissors 61. What the fuck does that even mean?
What I've learned is, like, and I came up loving story games as a kid, like playing action games, playing a lot of RPGs. There are some games you just don't play for the story. Like we said, Metal Gear's like that. Just Cause is like
Metal Gear
that.
Solid
I played
5
Just
is like
before
that. The rest of the Metal Gear series is
I don't
great
even know what the hell is going on in Just Cause. I'm like 17 hours in.
Yeah.
I'm just
But let's
Well,
Does it attempt to tell a story?
let's
Does it even attempt
let's
to
bring
tell
it in a
story?
little bit here, guys, and we're gonna go around and give our final thoughts since we're now it looks like maybe
Well,
about
we're hitting
20 minutes
2
over.
hours. Yeah, we need
Yeah, we're going on 2 hours and we're supposed to be at 90 minutes. So whatever. Anyway, so Nick, go ahead and give us your final thoughts here. You're about to say something. Go ahead and finish that off and give us your channel shilling and all that good shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what I'm about to say wasn't that important. But,
Okay.
but yeah, Nickodemus X is the YouTube channel. I do a live stream. I call Indie Games Sunday. Every Sunday, I highlight indie games. The games that people don't like. They tend to shit on. But I highlight these games just to give them some exposure, and because I definitely really do enjoy games like that. My channel also just offers different types of content. I kind of definitely speak my mind. I'm all for people, giving me feedback. I don't get in my feelings easy at all. Probably not at all, because I don't have feelings.
I'm
but
just saying you're a racist. No, I'm just kidding.
I am a racist bastard. Yes, I am. When it comes to ignorant assholes, I am very racist.
No, you're not.
I think he's just a robot, honestly. That's
Yeah,
what he's
I think
I'm very
he,
systematic.
I think-
I'm very systematic. I'm a lost breed. I'm a real man.
I think he might be Arsenal gear. I just want to say that.
But yeah, come check out the channel. Subscribe if you like what you see. Nickodemus X.
And I throw that out there. It's Motivation Always Works is actually his channel name. I don't know why.
I need to change that.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
All right, Travis, final thoughts.
Oh, what was I saying before? I think despite the fact that it's been ragged on so much, there's a market for spectacle. We see it in movies, we see it in sports, we see it in many, many different things in our society. So, despite people saying that, spectacle games are, cop-outs and there's no substance
What do you mean
to
by
that. There's a mark.
Just Cause.
Just Cause, right? Yeah.
Oh, we
Michael
know
Bay
those games
Simulator
on the market.
2015.
Like those games, there's a market for them, and I think they can be fun.
There's the
You just
entire
can't
genre, which is spectacle fighters.
Right, you can't
Mortal
expect
Kombat's a
what they aren't.
spectacle, but it's fun as hell too.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat's all about the spectacle.
Spectacle fighters in general, Mortal Kombat's not a spectacle
You
fighter.
want to see a good spectacle
but-
fighter? Go play any Platinum game except for their Legend of Korra one. There you go.
But yeah, so final thoughts. Any others, Travis?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, Joe, final thoughts.
If you like Left 4 Dead at all, like even a little bit, go play Warhammer End of Times Vermintide. It's so much fun.
God,
Coming soon to PS4.
You were just a corporate shill. Are you even
Corporate
getting
slavery!
Are,
It's
are you
indie,
even are
alright?
you are you even getting a paycheck for all that shillery?
He was chilling for Undertale a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right? He's
I
just-
was here for that. I was here for
I
that.
will
He's just
shill
the
for all
corporate-
the indies.
He's a
Hey, he does
corporate
a good job,
mouthpiece.
though. He does a good job because he got me interested in that game.
Don't encourage
Jesus.
the corporate slavery. We don't encourage corporate slavery.
We don't encourage it. He does so good. He's so good at it, though.
Hey, I'm shilling for indies, okay?
Yeah,
Indie slavery. It's all the
Yeah.
same.
Indie.
true that. All right, Kev, come on.
All right, so we know me. I'm Kev. Check me out on YouTube, Kev the Gamer. Fuck Ubisoft. You're back on the shit list. I started to forgive you, but no, you're back on the shit list.
Never forgive, never forget.
Nope, not with the shit with After the Division. There was also another fan base I wanted to say fuck off to that I can't remember now. And I like telling certain fan bases to fuck off when they screw us over. So that's what I've got. I'm patiently waiting to get back into The Walking Dead.
Nice. All right, and as you guys should be aware, since you're probably watching this on my YouTube channel live or on the Twitch channel, one of the two, I'm Angelus de Mortiel. Do some YouTube videos occasionally, mostly at this point just this podcast. We're live obviously every Sunday night if you guys want to check us out. And then obviously I occasionally do other videos, mostly educational and instructional on mostly multiplayer co-op games. Because I don't know why.
I'm also going to express my disappointment that he basically said nobody watches it on my channel. Even though I have been getting more views consistently. He gets longer view times than I do, but I can consistently.
Wait, what? What? I
I've
said
been going
that
and
no one
looking at
watches your
some
channel?
of your past videos just now, Kev, and I did notice that. Like a lot of the
I
earlier
get,
vids are only about
2 or 3 times
50
the amount of views you
views.
get on the podcast.
Like I was looking at some of the earlier podcast videos, and it was like 50
Morty was destroying
views. But then I looked at some of the most recent ones on Kev's channel, and it was up to like 185, 200 views.
That's
'cause
because I
Kev
noticed
is a YouTube star.
the live views has, since we switched to live, it's made things really weird. Like sometimes the views will be higher than it actually was. Like it'll say like there was like 50 views on a video, and then I go into the actual analytics and it will say like there was actually only 10 unique viewers, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, though, I don't care. People are watching it. Come check us out. We're here live every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Or obviously, me and Kev both have the VOD up on there. If you like watching a little gameplay while listening to the podcast, Kev's got that handled. If you want to see our ugly faces on there, winking at you and making really creepy faces like Kev does all the time, and apparently Nick. Then you can check it out on my channel. One way or another, though, we'll go ahead and sign off for now, and we will catch you guys next week on the Pixel Crashers podcast.
See ya.